Dawsonville, Georgia, the challenger, Bill Elliott.
This is Darrell Waltrip. This is for all the marbles, Darrell.
Man, marbles, you don't know the half of it. You can't put them marbles in the bank. I just hope that I got the best call and that everything works out good. Thanks.
The man who has done for auto racing this year what Arnold Palmer has done for golf and John McEnroe for tennis. Bill Elliott. Bill, the preliminaries are over. It's the final round. You look at it with a sense of relief or with a sense of urgency?
Well, I'm ready to get everything started, but still, you know, whatever happens today, it'll be over for the year, and we'll worry about next year.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dave Despain. For 27 grueling rounds, they've been slugging it out. And now today, they take the bell for the final time. Darrell Waltrip is ahead on points. Bill Elliott, winner of 11 races, hopes to throw one last haymaker, a knockout punch, to win his first title fight. It's the Winston Cup Championship. We're proud to bring it to you live here on WTBS. Now, joining me pitside, or perhaps we should say ringside today, the Grand National Championship winning crew chief. His cars took the Cup a record 8 times. Dale Inman, you predicted the winner of the Atlanta Journal 500 here 2 weeks ago. Now you're really on the spot. Who's going to win the championship?
Well, Dave, that is a tough one, but Darrell's got a 20-point cushion. He's got Junior Johnson on his side. Bill has not blowed an engine this year. In fact, I can't remember when he has blowed an engine, and that's a tribute to his brother Ernie. That's a toughie.
Inman says it's too close to call, I guess. We've got a heavyweight team to cover the action on pit road, weighing in at 165 pounds. For Motor Week Illustrated, Jerry Garrett.
Well, we're here with the pole sitter, Terry Labonte. And Terry, you want to win this race, but you got a couple of guys going for the championship. How are you going to handle that?
Well, you know, we've come out here to run our own race, and you know, we're just going to run as hard as we can and try to win. And as far as Bill and Darrell goes, you know, I wish them both all the luck in the world. And but we've got to run our own race and really can't worry about them.
Okay, well, there's a lot going on out here today, and Chris Economaki is with a driver on the outside of the first row.
Tim Richmond in car number 27. Tim, a front row start. We know you want to win the race, but everybody's focusing on the championship. When you see a number 9 or a number 11 in your mirror, will you do anything different today than you might have done a year ago?
No, I'd probably do the same thing, Chris, and that's keep them in the mirror instead of out in the windshield. But I definitely, if it comes to tight quarters with either one of them, I'll definitely, you know, do my best to stay away from them and not hinder their chances one way or the other for the championship. I'm just glad to be on the front row.
The best seat in the arena today, way up topside, and describing every punch from there will be our expert commentary team. Benny Parsons, former Grand National champion, and calling the play-by-play, Ken Squire.
Well, thank you, Dave. I think the front row really says it all. Not only is it a heavyweight championship, but it's 40 men in the ring for a losers leave town main event here today. That front row with Terry Labonte, he has already said, Benny, that in this event he would respect those guys. He'll race them hard, but he'll give them all the room they need.
But I think there's some other fellows out there who's not going to give them the room they need because they desperately need to win. A fellow who really needs to win is starting outside foe, Tim Richmond. Hasn't won a race this year, going to a new team. There's a lot of incentives that he could pick up if he could just win today. Ricky Rudd, beside Darrell Waltrip, hasn't won a race this year. He needs to win.
And Bobby Allison is qualified 6th. His previous best finish this year was 3rd. He desperately needs to take one home. So there's a lot more riding than just the championship in this event.
That's all true, but the championship is the real issue today, a $250,000 issue. We're going to play a little board game called If the Race Ended Now. It's a game with 2 players, Darrell Waltrip, Bill Elliott. The players don't start even. Going into the race, Waltrip has a 20-point lead. These numbers represent the point difference between the challengers. Let's say, for example, that Waltrip from the 3rd starting spot leads the first lap and gets a 5-point bonus. He's going to move up, and that's a 25-point spread. That interval will change throughout the day across the board. That interval will decide the Winston Cup Championship. It's a board game called If the Race Ended Now, and we're going to play it all day long. Now, let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Winston Western 500.
Let's, before we take a look at the starting lineup, get the command to fire these engines and get this race underway.
Today and participate, and I'd like to compliment the parent company of Winston, R.J. Reynolds, for all of the things they do in the field of sports and charity. Charities take the pressure off of government to supply services, and with things like the Dinah Shore Nabisco tournament and others that the parent company participates in, they're to be congratulated for what they do to our country and to the local areas involved. And now I understand we say the famous words, is that correct? Gentlemen, start your engines.
There's the command. 40 cars grumbling to life. Dave Marcus is New York and Lake Speed of Jackson, Mississippi. In row number 7 as they roll out around this 9-turn course. Neil Bonnet of Bessemer, Alabama, and Jim Bound of Portland, Oregon is the leading contender from the West. In the 8th row, Glenn Stewart, the rookie of the Winston West this year, and Jim Robinson, who today is in a race within a race to win the Winston West crown. In the 9th row, Herschel McGriff. He won here in the sportsman race yesterday, 58 years old, and still a leading contender. Along beside him is Ruben Garcia, a relative newcomer who's 3rd in the Western standings. In row number 10, Dave Marcus scheduled to go, number 71, and Bobby Hillen of Midland, Texas. Row number 11, it's the 2-time winner in 69 and 72, Richard Petty, and Buddy Baker is there. Row 12, there you find J.D. McDuffie making his 18th start in this race from Sanford, North Carolina, and Greg Sachs out of the state of New York. For row 13, Rusty Wallace will carry our onboard camera today, and with him comes Jimmy Means. In row 14 is Ron Esau of Lakeside, California, and Fenton, Missouri's Ken Schrader. For row 15 today, there you have Blair Alkin and Phil Parsons. Row 16 is Bill Schmidt, former Winston West champion, and alongside him Trevor Boyce, replacing James Hilton, who had been scheduled for that car. In the 17th row, Buddy Arrington and Scott Ockrey, the famed Speedway motorcycle rider. In the 18th row, Derek Cope from the state of Washington, and Bill Osborne. Row 19 is Clark Dwyer of Colorado Springs and Johnny Soares. Row 20 is Eddie Bierswell of San Antonio, Texas, and Bud Hickey, and Rick McRae is scheduled for Outback.
Bill Elliott and Darrell Waltrip right now, Ken Squire, are sitting on pins and needles because this is a tight racetrack going in turn 1. It's going to be tough to get in there. Neither one are on the pole.
Defending Rookie of the Year. That's Rusty Wallace in the Aluguard car as they come down to turn number 9 on the first of the provisional laps. They have 2 technical laps before they'll turn them loose. 57th road race in NASCAR Grand National history. And although Riverside has hosted the only races since '67, there were 8 other twisting courses on which they ran, but none really as challenging as this, Benny Parsons.
There certainly is, and Riverside is one of the most demanding tracks.
Let's take a look at how this course rings itself out.
We're going to be talking about this racetrack all day. It's a 9-cornered racetrack. The start-finish line we see across the racetrack. The dot is turn 1. Now we're in turn 2. That's the start of the S's. The flashing red light, that's turn 2. They're downshift to 3rd gear and go through that corner. Back on the throttle, there's turn 3, a right-hander, almost wide open in 3rd gear. Turn 4 is the next little corner to the left right there. There we're in turn 5. That's the beginning of the hairpin, and right around there is turn 6. Just before turn 5, we downshift to 2nd gear.
Slowest corner here.
Slowest corner here. No, up there's the slowest corner. That's turn 7, the dead hairpin, 2nd gear, and come off the corner is turn 8. Can they really get very slow off that corner? Maybe down to 5. There is turn 8. Maybe down to 5,000 RPM.
Negative camber there, too. Really
negative camber, very difficult to negotiate. If you get in the corner just a little bit too hard, you're off the racetrack. Down the long back straightaway.
How fast?
170 miles an hour into turn 9. Downshift to 3rd gear and use all the brakes you have. Through a long, long corner. Come off turn 9 up against the outside guardrail, and at the start-finish line, you'll downshift into 4th gear.
Terry Labonte sets on the pole at 116.938 miles per hour. Broke Darrell Waltrip's qualifying mark of November '83 at 116.782. New record 1 minute 20, 658 1/1000th of a second. Give it to Labonte in car number 44. Field organizing for a start here at Riverside, California. 28th and final race to decide it all. $250,000 from Winston to win this championship today. 120 for second place, and that really tells the story.
It's when, I mean, second place, that's a lot of money, $150,000, but still, there's nothing like the victory and being called Winston Cup champion all of 1986.
Benny Parsons speaks from experience.
Very true.
All right, field is into turn number 9. Ladies and gentlemen, here it is. Live on the Superstation, the showdown for 1985. The Winston Cup competition comes down to this event. 119 laps, 311.78 miles, 500 plus kilometers here today at Riverside, California, to decide the championship for the year. Rain is out. On the break, Labonte goes in front. Richmond dropping to second. Remember that Waltrip started in third. Elliott in fifth. Here they come on the hustle.
Waltrip got a pretty good start. Bill Elliott, not so good. There's 2 cars between Elliott and the lead right now.
Field going up into turn number 6. Here they are. Labonte. And there you see right behind him pressing Richmond. Badly needing to pull off a victory here. Changing teams next year. Moving on to the Rick Hendrick organization. Word is that Rusty Wallace may be in the Raymond Beetle car next year.
I got to get my hat off to Bobby Allison because he saw that Bill Elliott had no place to go. He backed off, let Bill get in turn 2 ahead of him.
2 previous champions really stated right up front they were going to let these guys go race for it today.
They are going to, all these fellows are going to let Darrell Waltrip and Bill Elliott settle this thing on the racetrack.
Labonte said, I'm not going to be the one to get in their way. Guy who won the championship a year ago. A lot of sportsmanship with a lot of money at stake. All right, coming around to end lap number 1 at Riverside, California. Give the lead to Terry Labonte. He's up in front, the Texas runner. Then the Ohio veteran is in second, Tim Richmond. In the third, Waltrip. Running in fourth, Ricky Rudd, still in fifth. That is Bill Elliott, and it's side by side for 6. Harry Gant right there knocking on the door with Bobby Allison.
Harry Gant was going across turn 1, across the bridge on the outside. Not the place to be, but he made it work for him.
Remember at the outset we mentioned Allison has had one really super finish this year. That was here when he finished third at Riverside.
These 2 cars we're watching right now, Terry Labonte and Tim Richmond, both these fellows get around this racetrack as well as anyone here. They are dominant at this racetrack.
Now here's that very tricky number 8 turn, and you're following Darrell Waltrip. Letting things get smoothed out a little before he makes any fancy moves on this racetrack. He knows he comes in here with that 20-point advantage over Bill Elliott in second place as we begin this competition.
And we talk about Bill Elliott and what he's got to do to win and lose. Darrell Waltrip has talked about he's going to keep an eye on Bill Elliott. Ken, if he can look at him in the rearview mirror all day, he can't lose.
As you saw at the outset, 4,141 points to 4,141 to 4,121 between those 2 top contenders. Here are the leaders in the race.
Ken, the thing to keep in mind as we play our board game down here, and as Benny Parsons was just discussing, what each driver has to do. There are a million permutations, but the one point to remember is that if Darrell Waltrip can finish first or second today, he can lock up the championship no matter what Bill Elliott does. Now, obviously, to get to the front, he's going to have to beat these 2 Chargers, Terry Labonte and Tim Richmond. They're 2 of the toughest guys in the business to get around, especially here at Riverside.
The man on the move is Harry Gant. Gant has pulled up into 6th position. He's closing on Bill Elliott in 5th.
That is so true. I looked as they went by. Harry Gant right on the back of Bill Elliott. He is definitely on the move. And as we watch Terry Labonte and Tim Richmond going in turn 7.
Labonte's lap at 112.8 miles per hour. Labonte was talking about how coarse this track is now. It's going to wear on these tires. There you see Bill Elliott in the 5th spot, and right behind him is coming car number 33. There you see it, the green and white colors. The bandit on the move, Harry Gant.
Harry Gant had a very poor qualifying run, qualified 8th, but he looks like his car is better than that.
But remember, he had a great run out here in the month of June in this race. There's your leader, Terry Labonte. Labonte stays first. Tim Richmond staying second. Around this big fairgrounds corner here, turn number 9. Actually, there is no turn number 7 that they use today. They go right from 6 to 8, bypass 7. Now, Bill Elliott is closing up on Ricky Rudd. A couple of the Fords getting together here, and we have a skirmish a little further back in the field as Elliott begins to feel some heat from the Harry Gant automobile, and he closes up on Ricky Rudd.
Right now, Ken, we're starting to see the chassis take over and just how well these cars are set up. The first couple of laps while the tires are cold, it's hard to tell who has the advantage. Darrell Waltrip let the cars get away from him the first couple of laps. Right now, he's closed back up on Richmond, as we can see him going in turn 7, only a couple of car lengths behind.
And we should point out for you racing fans that the tire rule has been pulled for today.
Yes, the people who are avid fans and realize that NASCAR has a 2-tire rule that has been lifted. The competitors can change 4 tires at any time they choose.
There's Terry Labonte at number 44, drawing away now, getting a little bit of an advantage over car number 27, Tim Richmond right there. Waltrip lies in third, and he knows that all he has to do is stay in front of that number 9 car. Elliott's got to do some moving.
Bill does need to get going, but we're very early in the race. We've only completed 3 laps so far. He has plenty of time.
There you see the interval as they come around, coming to the line to complete lap number 4. Now here comes Bill Elliott making a move. He may try to put a pass on Ricky Rudd up here. He tried the last time in turns 2 and 3, and here's Elliott trying another time. You see him getting out there, making a run on Ricky Rudd as they come up through the S's. Bill Elliott trying to pick up a spot here as they come up for turn 6.
As they came across turn 1 across the bridge, Bill moved over out of Ricky Rudd's mirror, hoping that Ricky would let him have the spot. Ricky chose not to, because as we mentioned at the top of the show, Ricky Rudd is a young man who needs to win today, as probably as bad as Bill Elliott.
All right, let's watch them down the straightaway. Watch the horsepower match between those 2 teams.
There's Richmond. They both are by Richmond.
Everybody's going by Richmond. Richmond falling back. Richmond falling further back now. He's back into the 8th position as Earnhardt also takes it. Something amiss on Tim Richmond's car. So, with 4.5 laps complete, the leader continues to be Terry Labonte, and we have a new second-place man in Ricky Rudd.
Okay, down here in Bill Elliott's pit, and everybody, there are 26 uniformed people in this pit. There's something apparently in the transmission of the shifter linkage, the driving mechanism. They're all over the car here. It was smoking when he came in. It's a bad sign for Bill Elliott in this quest for his first national championship. He's moving the gear shift lever back and forth, back and forth. It's apparently in the transmission.
Bill Elliott, the winner here in 1983.
I could tell by the way he was moving that shift around, there's nothing there. It doesn't go in gear. It's like that the rods have fallen off the transmission or something, but I don't know what it is in the transmission.
That happened in the 6th lap. They are now working the 7th. Terry Labonte continuing to lead in car number 44. Waltrip is in 2nd, and Ricky Rudd is in 3rd. Let me correct what we said earlier about Ricky Rudd. He is in 3rd. Waltrip is in 2nd. Firing car number 9 and pushing him on. And he's going behind the wall.
And they're really not rushing back to the truck. The crew is just slowly walking back over the wall. I think they're calling it a day.
It may be a 1-round knockout. What a sad moment for the folks from Georgia. Bill Elliott, early in the going, came down that long straightaway and all of a sudden was overhauled by 4 or 5 cars.
We see Kyle Petty. That's the Ford in front of Terry Labonte is Kyle Petty. He has made an unscheduled pit stop, and he, in fact, is going a lap down right there.
Let's go to Dave Despain.
Well, if the race ends now is the name of the game, and if the race ends now, it's a runaway. Bill Elliott barely got off the line. He'll perhaps be credited if he stays in the garage with 40 in place in the race. And if Darrell Waltrip stays anywhere up near the front, he's going to win this championship by 135 points. Waltrip can mess around all day. He can lose positions. He can fall back in the field. He can get back to where he started, and he's still $250,000 richer unless Elliott can get that thing out of the garage.
He moving the gear shift lever. Apparently the shifter linkage or something is not operating. He seems to be quite calm, quite businesslike, and he's not showing any signs of disappointment. It's really a tough break for this great driver.
This isn't over. We're watching part of the crew from our position, the start-finish line, running as fast as they can to the Bill Elliott truck. And they took with them a cart, and apparently they're going to try to get him back in the race.
I suppose they're going to change the transmission, put a new transmission in the car.
There you see the Elliott car.
And as we watching those things, Terry Labonte, Darrell Waltrip has closed up on him. When Bill Elliott had his trouble, it looked like that was Darrell's cue. Hey, let's go to try and win this thing. And he has gained on Terry Labonte.
5 out of the last 9 championships have been won by Junior Johnson cars. Make it 6 out of 10. I've always thought if you had Junior Johnson in your corner at the end of the year, that's worth an extra 50 points.
Junior, one of the very, very best at making a car that will run all day. Very, very durable automobiles. And look, as he comes off turn 9, just a few more car lengths closer to Terry Labonte.
Battle for the lead. Car number 44 in front, Labonte. Here's Waltrip closing. Darrell Waltrip on the move. Will this be his 3rd championship today? He could still have a problem, a malfunction here today. And if he has to sit it out for a while, we know that the number 9 crew is going to make a determined effort to get Bill Elliott back in here and score whatever they can.
They're going to try to get him back in and score how many ever points they can. But right now, they really have an uphill battle.
We're watching the Elliott crew, and they're hand carting back new transmission pieces for that car as we watch Waltrip closing on car number 44, Terry Labonte at turn number 8. These are 2 good road racers, and we should point out that we're rather saddened by the fact that Bill Elliott is not here for a lot of reasons, and one is he's proven himself to be such a masterful road racer. Elliott went into an IMSA race with Lynn St. James, and this stock car driver turned the fastest lap of the day. Now, look at Waltrip on the drive. He's up on Terry Labonte.
Use the draft and the slingshot to pass him. Going in turn 9, Darrell Waltrip is the leader. If he can just make it back to the start-finish line in front, he picks up 5 bonus points.
Darrell Waltrip, who first became a real contender, 1979, Ontario, California. He came into the last race leading by 2, lost by 11 to Richard Petty, was heartbroken. This year, his attitude, much different. And pulling away now is car number 11 on 44. Ricky Rudd stays 3rd. Harry Gant is in 4th. Dale Earnhardt is in the 5th position. Maintaining 6th overall in the race is Jeff Bodine. In 7th is Allison. 8th is Neil Bonnet. 9th is Lake Speed. And having fallen back into 10th position from the outside of the front row is Tim Richmond. Let's go back to the garage area.
What you're seeing on camera here is a transmission they're going to put into Bill Elliott's car. The interesting thing is there are 4 men underneath the car. People from the next pit, Ricky Rudd's Motorcraft pit, have volunteered to help with parts and supplies and so forth, should he need it. It's a great feeling of sportsmanship that's going on here in the pit today, but such a sad moment for Bill Elliott, who shows no emotion as he sits in the car. His only concession to being there was to loosen his seatbelts a little bit just a moment ago. Back top side.
Dale Inman, when you're in a situation like that as crew chief, are you thinking about what's gone wrong, or are you thinking about the championship? What are you focused on, and what are you trying to keep the guys focused on?
Well, right now, they're heartbroken, and they know it's a losing cause, but they're going to give it their best shot to get the transmission back in as quick as possible and get Bill back out there. But Darrell went up and done what he needed to do. He went up and led 1 lap, and now Terry's passed him back, so he's got that 5 up bonus point. So Darrell's got everything in hand right now.
How long would it take to change that transmission, minimum?
I would say anywhere from 15 to 25 minutes, according to how much they have to take the tailpipes off, the drive shaft out, the linkage off inside. And it's not an easy job, and everything's hot, so they have to hook the coolers back up. It's a pretty big job right now.
Quick note on Tim Richmond, who fell off the pace from the outside pole and is back in 10th spot. He had to change a transmission this morning, but they say the problem with that car is not the transmission, but that the motor is missing, and that's what's dropped Richmond off the pace. Bill Elliott waiting, hoping that he can get back out there. What he needs now is a problem for Darrell Waltrip that will put him in the pits for many, many laps.
Waltrip's problem for the moment is this man, number 44, Terry Labonte. He lost an engine here on Thursday, changed engines, and came out with a machine that set a new record. And it's the same engine he's using now, with which he qualified 4th at Atlanta. Here he is. He's moved back around. Darrell Waltrip another time and draws away by 10 car lengths. Do you think Waltrip is kind of waiting on it? He's proven he can go up there, or is Texas Terry really giving him some of that Texas stuff?
I'm a little confused right now, Ken, to tell you the truth. When Waltrip went up and passed Labonte, I thought he was going to try to win the race. What the heck? Bill Elliott's had a problem. Why don't I just go ahead and win this thing? But he only led one lap, and Labonte passed him down the back straightaway with ease. Maybe Darrell is just taking it easy right now. Maybe he's got a problem.
You're watching Terry Labonte now leading in the Western 500 here at Riverside, California. He won here back in June over Harry Gant and Bobby Allison.
And there Rudd goes by Darrell going in turn 2. Ricky Rudd goes by on the inside.
And here's another man moving up. Gant closing. Gant is closing on Darrell Waltrip, and you wonder if something may be amiss on car number 11.
If something's not wrong with the 11 car.
Here they are for turn 6. Waltrip is there. Gant right behind him. And there you see Dale Earnhardt, number 3. Largest crowd in years is here at Riverside. Almost had to hold the race a few moments. There were so many folks coming in. Here's Gant on the inside taking another spot. Here comes Earnhardt as Waltrip falls further back.
Maybe he's just taking it easy, but
we'll have Jerry Garrett over there to check on that story with Junior Johnson in a moment as we watch car number 33 on the move. Harry Gant goes into 3rd. Dale Earnhardt goes to 4th. Darrell Waltrip falls to 5th. Bodine is in 6th. Bonnet is in 7th. Allison is in 8th. Lake Speed in 9th. Tim Richmond 10th. Richard Petty 11th. And Ron Bouchard currently in 12th. Harry Gant continues to be the man of the move. More from Riverside live shortly. The Riverside International Raceway. You're riding live in the 21st car, the Alugard car of Rusty Wallace, as he approaches turn number 6 before a record crowd. There he is, Rusty Wallace, in car number 2, headed down for turn number 8. This is the stickler.
This is a problem, mate. As you mentioned, off cambered corner. Right now, the car is just trying to slide off the racetrack. And I thought Rusty was getting a little out of shape. That's the scoreboard blocked our view. We really couldn't tell.
All right, here he is down in that long back straightaway. You can really wind it up. Over 175 miles per hour, heading for the bridge.
He just shifted in the 4th gear. Down under the bridge is a bump right there. Car really settles down hard, wide open. Right now, 170 miles an hour.
And you don't lift on that corner.
No, do not lift. Now he's on the brake real hard. Downshift to 3rd gear. We saw that through turn 9, all the way through the corner in 3rd gear.
That's right, where Terry Labonte broke his leg few years back here in this very race. Crashed so hard.
Oh, he got off the corner, got in the dirt a little bit. Got him a little bit too high coming off turn 9.
Rusty Wallace in the Alugard car, one of the competitors for the up-and-coming award today, given by Nationwide to those drivers seeking their first Grand National win. $1,000 bonus in equipment from Nationwide. Currently in leading that is the Nationwide car, Lake Speed. And running second in that is Jim Bound, that fine West Coast runner.
And right now, we see Ricky Rudd come in the picture. He has gained on Terry Labonte. Rudd having an excellent run today.
There you see the number 44 in front, and the Ford is closing all the time on Terry Labonte. Terry Labonte won his race here this year on this track. Some guys just naturally take to road courses and do so well, and some people never can get the hang of it.
And Terry Labonte is one that took to road course racing like a duck to water. He has been the car to beat here the last 3 or 4 races.
Now, the lap situation, 15 down, and Terry was telling us that if you run hard on this course, the course is so coarse that it'll wear that right front tire right to the cord. And that could be a problem here today.
It could be. That's one reason NASCAR lifted that tire roof.
Here's Dave Despain.
Here in the STP Pit Communications Center with Dale Inman. Dale, we saw Darrell Waltrip do a strange bit of perhaps strategy, perhaps a problem. Elliott went to the garage with a broken transmission. Darrell stands on the gas, goes right to the front, takes the lead, and then drops back to 5th. What's that all about?
Well, probably Darrell's feeling is he abused the car for maybe a lap. He turned it a few more RPMs to get by Terry. He went to the front. He got the 5-point bonus, and then he said, okay, old car, you got me there. You got me the 5 points. I'm going to let you relax a few minutes.
The key is the bonus points, and that's why he went up there and raced so hard.
I think so.
Sounds like a strategic move rather than a mechanical problem for car number 11.
And he's willing to settle back about 6 positions now. I'm surprised he'd be willing to settle back that far.
I am surprised as well because he looked like he was comfortable up in the front, but he is, right now, he has maintained the position that he had a few moments ago. He's not losing any ground, nor is he gaining any.
Let's go to Jerry Garrett down there in Darrell Waltrip's pits.
Well, Ken, we talked to Jeff Hammond, the crew chief for Darrell Waltrip. We said, is there a problem? He said, no, no problem. Took him a little while to get up to the front to get that 5 points. Now he's settling back to the pace that he wants to run in this race. Whatever it is, 5th place, 6th place, 10th place, he's just going to run that play and keep the car safe for later.
Right now, Neil Bonnet continues to make his own war. He's trying to close up on Jeff Bodine at the present time. Back there in 6th spot. They're having a pretty good little tussle. There you see those leaders. There is Ricky Rudd. And now into view comes Harry Gant. Remember that he's running in 3rd. Then comes Dale Earnhardt in the 4th position.
We see Labonte going by slow traffic. That hurt him a great deal. I think Rudd's going to be a few car lengths closer this time than the last lap by.
Ricky Rudd so overdue. You can already see a tire mark on that blue and yellow car number 3. He's taking a little abuse out there.
Well, Earnhardt had to start back in the field, and he was going to the front. He's in 4th spot right now. Great spot for him.
Little moving of lines as they come down into that very fast sweep. Everything tells you to lift your foot off the throttle when you go down into that thing.
It really does. And I tell you what, you've got to hit that corner, that little left-hander just right. If you don't, it hurts it affects your...
Ooh, Osborne really in the way for number 44.
And here comes Rudd. Rudd right behind. He might pass him. He's alongside, coming by the start-finish line.
For turn 1. Now the hole opens up on the inside, and there goes Terry Labonte through. Ricky Rudd right with him. I love to watch these stock cars on a road course.
Wow,
really
Rudd almost had the lead coming off turn 9. There's a car spun.
Down here, turn 2 and 3, we've got one off in the dirt. No caution is out around the track.
There goes the leaders by. There's the 44 and the 15 going by.
Counted there.
Made it through safely. That's a bad spot. They need to get that guy. Needs to get off the racetrack. He's too close to the track for comfort.
Everyone is so used to seeing these cars on super speedways, half-mile tracks, 5/8. But they sure put on a show, and they let them loose on a road course. They lean on each other, as you can already see from Dale Earnhardt's car. They work hard. But NASCAR has had races on road courses since 1954. It staged its first road race for the Grand National. Linden, New Jersey Airport, 2-mile course. 43 cars started. Old sprint car star came home first. Al Keller. You know what he drove?
No.
A Jaguar, of all things. For Paul Whiteman. Remember they called him the king of jazz? That was
yes,
some
I remember Paul Whiteman having some race cars.
Yeah, he sure did, and Al Keller won that race. It was the only Grand National race won by a non-American product.
And we can see Ricky Rudd hasn't gained very much, but he certainly hasn't lost any distance. Here he's coming in the pits. Rudd is coming in the pits. The caution is out. What a tough break for Labonte.
Here comes number 15. Ricky Rudd in. This is a tremendous break for him. Rest of the field on this big 2.6-mile, 9-turn course. Circulating around. Dale Earnhardt took the advantage. He jumped onto pit road. Bodine has come in. Waltrip is in. Darrell Waltrip has also come in. Richard Petty.
What a tough break for Rudd, because Rudd is going to be about the 10th place car when his race gets restarted. All because of the caution flag.
Field getting ready. Under caution, 4 tires all the way around. The rest of the field will be coming in. Here you see the leaders, and there's another 10 or 15 cars flocking in there now. And this makes it just a bit congested down on pit road as they're going to push off this machine that's in trouble up here in the corner.
Ricky Rudd wins the race off pit road. He will be the leader when this thing goes back.
Blair Aiken's car out of Lakeport, California was the car that spun and brought out the first caution of the day. We'll be back with more live action from Riverside, California, after these messages. It's complete here in Riverside, California. All the cars have now come in, taken this opportunity to take on rubber and fuel at the Western 500. And let's take a look right now at what brought out the first caution of the day 2 laps ago. This was the car, the Stoke Racing Chevrolet, Blair Aiken of Lakeport, California, all by his lonesome, looping down here. Got it up on the track and came to rest down here pretty close to Thompson's Hill.
The break that everyone got right there. We see the wind going towards the stands. It's not blowing the dust on where they're obscuring the visibility for the other drivers. That's a break.
Let's go to Dave Despain.
The $250,000 Winston Cup Championship prize is the big prize here today. Darrell Waltrip is in the driver's seat for that. But there are a lot of other ways that these guys can make money. Consider, for example, the Barclays American Run for the Money. That's a $10,000 award to the driver who leads lap 60, the midway point in the race. It looks like Ricky Rudd will be the leader when we come out of this caution flag, so right now he's the prime candidate for that. The Nationwide Award goes to the driver who has never won a Grand National Championship race and turns in the top performance here today. That's another $1,000. And there's something called the Goodies Headache Award that goes to the driver who has the biggest problem of the day. And I think we have an overwhelming candidate for that. Championship contender Bill Elliott in the garage area with a broken transmission.
Ready to resume racing here in Riverside, California, which has hosted the Winston Cup Series since 1967. This is the championship of the Winston Cup. Getting ready for a start. They'll take that on the backside of the racetrack when they come around off turn 8. They do not take it to the start-finish line.
I felt like Terry Labonte would be back about 10th or 15th. He got lucky in the fact he only fell back to 4th spot because of not being able to come in with the other cars.
They see the light off in the pace cars. They come around to 8. They'll get set for a start with Rudd first, Earnhardt in second.
And the green is out. These cars aren't racing. The pace car just simply puts the green flag out the window, and the fellows go to racing. And they come down the back straightaway 2 abreast.
Waltrip is there in 3rd, Labonte in 4th, and they really stack them up. Look at Terry Labonte moving down underneath Darrell Waltrip as they head for the bridge. Side by side, down into turn number 9. It'll be Dale Earnhardt out in front, Terry Labonte into
Rudd's
second.
off the pace.
Now, Rudd is falling back as they go into turn number 9.
Ricky Rudd, who desperately needs to win, is off the pace coming off turn 9. They have the pit board out. He's going in the pits. Evidently has a... No, he's not going in the pits.
Here he is coming by, and he elected not to come in. You saw Gant go by him. Now Bodine. Now Neil Bonnet at number 12 scoot by in turn number 1.
I think he has a flat tire. He looks like he has a right rear tire flat, but that's strictly a guess.
There's Jim Bound out of Oregon going by. Ricky Rudd. Here comes Petty by on the sort out as they get this race back underway. Earnhardt goes into 1st, Waltrip into 2nd, Labonte to 3rd, Gant to 4th, and you saw Bodine pull into 5th. Average speed up to the first 20 laps was 109.738 miles per hour. Winston Western 500, a scorcher thus far. And a major surprise as Bill Elliott's car is still being attended to. Incidentally, Dave Marcus made the starting grid.
On pit road, Chris Economaki has an update on the Bill Elliott story. Chris.
Well, we're standing here with a part that broke on Bill Elliott's car. It's a shifter mechanism. This rod pin broke off this shaft. This rod here broke off this part here. They tell me it's an $8 item that has left Bill Elliott sitting there waiting. And rather than change the transmission, they've decided to open up the transmission that's in the car and replace this part, feeling that it would take less time than an entire transmission change. They're all here living and working in home, back topside.
That piece goes in the side cover of the transmission, so it probably would be easier to take the side cover off and put that piece back in the car.
Here's Dale Earnhardt out in front for the moment. This moment comes into lap number 23. Here is Ricky Rudd on pit road. Watching Earnhardt barreling up through the S's. Watching Rudd come.
They're going to the right side of the car. It looks like he does have a flat tire on the right side. Tough break, but he's not going to get lapped, and if he can just get another caution flag sometime today, he'll be right back in the thick of things. Just over 11.5-second pit stop. Great work by Bud Moore and his crew.
Earnhardt stays in front. Terry Labonte trying to close, and Harry Gant. I love to watch Gant on a road course. He doesn't go down. He just leans it in there and cranks it sideways.
Well, he comes from Taylorsville, North Carolina, and he drives on roads worse than this every day of his life.
That's right. The road racing experience he gets is from Taylorsville, North Carolina. He runs them well. All right, he's into 3rd, and he's closing up. There, your front 3. There's Bodine lying in 4th, last year's champion, yellow and white car. Dale Earnhardt staying out in front. Dale, what's your strategy in this final race of the season?
I pretty much run a smooth, comfortable pace all day and try to run with the leaders. If they're going a little faster than I want to, or my car can stand, and I'm punishing my equipment, I'll maybe back off a little, but I try to stay in contention with the leaders and wait for the end of the race.
The heritage of these people goes back to those days of the revenuers and the whiskey runners. And when you see these guys on a road course, you just know what great road races they've made.
I tell you what, this is a great race. Those cars are very equally matched. Neil Bonnet, Harry Gant, third place, Terry Labonte second, and Dale Earnhardt in front. It's hard to tell if anyone had, I saw the right front tire come off the ground on the 33 car, the Bandit that time.
I'll tell you what's going to be exciting, Benny, is years to come as NASCAR expands this series into some road racing with perhaps 3 or 4 events a year. Next year, of course, in August, they're going to go to Watkins Glen with these cars. They raced there before, and all of them talk about how that's the school of hard knocks. You knock into everything pretty hard and finally learn how to get around these courses. Baker talks about that, Walter.
Well, tires is a very big part of the automobile racing, and Jerry Garrett has a story for us, Ken.
Well, Benny, just about everybody on that last caution changed 4 tires. Ricky Rudd didn't, and I guess he wishes he did change all 4 because one of the ones that they didn't change went flat. There's normally a rule that says you can only change 2 tires during a caution period, but that rule has been set aside for this race as a safety precaution because the cars can kick up so much dirt and rocks on the track. It's so easy to cut a tire. The problem is that nobody consulted the tire supplier, Goodyear, about that. And Goodyear doesn't have enough tires to service everybody in this race. So these tires here that we're looking at could become the most precious commodity in this race. They normally sell for $150 a piece. They may be selling for 3 times that along pit road later today as supplies get scarce.
The old story of supply and demand. I love it.
Well, reviewing now, Earnhardt first, Labonte second, Gant third, Bodine fourth, Bonnet is in fifth, Waltrip is in sixth. Gene Granger in Grand National Scene recalled Bobby Isaac, who never said much, but when he said it, he really nailed it. He said, there's a time to race and a time to pace. And I think that may be what Waltrip's doing right now back there in that 6th spot. Jim Bound is up to 7th, Richard Petty is in 8th, Bobby Allison in 9th, Tim Richmond 10th, Lake Speed 11th, Bobby Hill in 12th, Herschel McGriff 13th, Bill Schmidt making a good run in 14th, and Glenn Stewart 15th.
There's a pass for the lead going in turn 9. Labonte passes Earnhardt and has the lead going in turn 9.
So Terry Labonte continues to show a lot of muscle out here. He's retaken that lead now on 3 occasions thus far in the race. Dale Earnhardt relegated back to the 2nd position of the time. But it's a long way from over. 119 laps make the difference today. And here you see how tight they're running in this Winston Western 500 to decide the national championship. More live coverage on the Superstation coming up. Out here on the edge of the desert, the road runners are frisking around at the present time, led by number 44, Terry Labonte. But the Coyote sits back, licking his chops. Darrell Waltrip aimed toward another national championship with $250,000. There you see Terry Labonte out in front for the moment, with Earnhardt second, Gant third, Bodine fourth, and Neil Bonnet in fifth. Tonight, catch up on all the latest sports news and scores as Nick Charles and Kevin Christopher host the sports page right here on the Superstation. It's at 10:02, and special tonight, the special guest is the baseball commissioner, Peter Uberoth. See it tonight. Now you're with the in-car camera. The Alucard car, Rusty Wallace out of Missouri. He's moved from 21st up to 17th position as he continues to challenge. Here he is rolling through traffic, back through turns 1, 2, and 3. Headed up there, you can see those big bleachers up in front of him as the Alucard car continues to close and move through the field.
We just saw him go down to 2nd gear to enter turn 5, right on the back of, I think that's Ruben Garcia. 2nd gear off turn 6, and he will run 2nd gear all the way across that short straightaway to turn 7.
Terry Labonte staying up in front. He won here early, and there's Kyle Petty getting lapped. Let's go to Chris Economaki for this late update.
Okay, Bill Elliott's car has been repaired. They fired up the engine. He's got it in reverse, and he's backing up pit road and will re-enter the competition in a matter of moments. A crowd, hundreds of people stood around the car for more than 30 minutes while the repairs on the transmission were effected. Now he's being waved out on the track, and there he goes amidst a great cheer of the people here. Back to the top side.
Elliott coming back on. We'll check the number of laps down for you. Tell you where Bill Elliott is as he rolls back out. Well, he is the sentimental favorite of America as he comes back on the course here at Riverside, California. The challenger who's done what no one has done, taken 11 races this year on the super speedways. I think the big point has been, though, with the short track performance. It goes right back to Richmond, Virginia, when he had that terrible crash. They built a special short track car. They lost it at Richmond. Then he crashed at Rockingham. There's a battle a little further back in the field. Cars number 3 and 33. in the second position going at it here. But that short track program hurt them a bit as much as anything. And, you know, you don't win the championship unless you win at least one short track race in a year, right?
Well, that's exactly right. Darrell Waltrip, though, this year, he usually dominates the short tracks. I think he only won one short track race this year. So it wasn't a good year for both contenders on the short tracks.
When you look at those numbers and you see 11 wins for Car 9 Elliott and 3 wins for Waltrip, you would think that Elliott would be upset. Elliott said again the other day, I'm satisfied with the point program. Darrell Waltrip's still the man that says it should be changed.
Darrell Waltrip is the fellow who's going to benefit from it. He's the fellow who said it needs to be changed. And I think, yes, why would Bill Elliott not be the champion, having won 11 races? But yet, if Elliott had gotten bonus points, we come to Riverside, he already had the thing wrapped up, we probably would not have had as many viewers. And I like to see people watching our races.
All right, you're seeing a great fight right now as you watch Harry Gant close it again. Had a pretty good year. He lies third in the points. He was right in it. Well, he had devastating problems at Atlanta. Made that great run at Rockingham that you saw in the Superstation as he drove it sideways around that thing lap after lap. Now there's Jeff Bodine, and right behind him comes Neil Bonnet. And you see as they come through, they're in 4th, 5th. Waltrip back there in 6th.
I just happened to note that Bill Elliott spent 34 minutes and 39 seconds in the pits. There we have the Nationwide's up and coming towards the leader right now, and that is Lake Speed, who drives the Nationwide's car. He is currently in 9th place. In 10th, Jim Bound on the West Coast. 11th, Bobby Hillin Jr. The Chuck Bound car, that is the brother of Chuck Bound, who runs up in the Northern Tour.
$1,000 to a non-winner, one who has never won a Winston Cup race. Merchandise from the Nationwide folks across America. Number 44, Terry Labonte is still there. Will he make it 2 straight?
Labonte's coming off turn 9 and going in turn 9 a while ago. Neil Bonnet just passed Jeff Bodine for 4th spot. A great run for Bonnet today. There, he comes off the corner, and there's another car. Bill Elliott trying to pass both those cars.
Bill Elliott's not giving up one bit. He senses it's still early in the going, and there's been no attrition to speak of.
He tried to get inside Bodine going in turn 2. Bodine would not give him the room. He had to fall back.
Bodine's tough to deal with. Hard racer. And
one of the cars that Bodine grew up in, the modifieds, you had to be tough because those cars are so close. If you give an inch, you lose.
And Bonnet runs right in front of him, and there's part of this throng that's gathered today in Riverside, California. Immense crowd. Now Elliott gets an inside shot off turn number 6, coming into turn 8. Remember, there's no turn 7 in this layout on this 2.6-mile course. And at the old turn 8 of Riverside, Elliott picks one up.
Bill Elliott has 4 new tires on his automobile right now, so he should be able to run a little better than some of the other cars on the racetrack for at least 2 or 3 laps.
But that goes away in a hurry, and it'll cost you 3 to 4 miles per hour in 4 or 5 laps.
Exactly right. It does go away quickly. There, a shot from Rusty Wallace in 2nd gear. This is a short shoot between 6th and, you call it 8, turn 8, at the off-camber corner. But he has to get right to the inside, as we can see. Now, down the back straightaway. He's shifting to 3rd gear. Should be shifting to 3rd gear. Right there. Down 3rd, all the way down. About the time... Now, dropped it into 4th gear. And that baby is humming right now.
Rumor is he'll be humming in a new car next year. Let's go to Dave Despain.
We're at the quarter pole here at this Winston 500 as the drivers have completed lap 32. And remember, 60 represents halfway. The run for the Barclays money, well, indeed, it looks pretty good. The halfway award of $10,000. Got a good 3-way battle. That's your approximate interval on the racetrack right now. Terry Labonte won it at the Rockingham broadcast here on WTBS. Dale Earnhardt is the previous winner. Harry Gant has never won that award, and he could pick up an extra 10 grand today in the Barclays run for the money. Let's go over and play a quick game of If the Race Ended Now. You know the problems Bill Elliott's had. He's way back there in the pits. We estimate him at 40th position on the racetrack right now after spending nearly a half hour in the garage getting a new transmission. Darrell Waltrip running up here in 6th place in the race. If the race ended now, Darrell Waltrip would win the championship by approximately 132 points.
32 laps have been completed. Terry Labonte stays up in front. Here he is lapping machines, staying out in front of Earnhardt in 2nd. Harry Gant in 3rd. Neil Bonnet in 4th. Jeff Bodine in 5th. Richard Petty in 6th. Bobby Allison 7th. Waltrip back to 8th now. Well, he's really playing it cool out here today. You know, with the exception of 1979, when Petty overcame Waltrip at Ontario, California. In each previous season, the man leading going into this race has won the title. It looks for the moment like that's the way it's going to be today.
It does look that way. Well, you know, when you're leading the title, you have to take it easy, as Darrell Waltrip is doing today. And this racetrack is a track that lends itself to a driver who does take it easy, who is super smooth. And that's a driver on the screen, Terry Labonte, who is super smooth. One reason he's leading the race right now. There's Bill Elliott, another great, smooth race car driver. And we can see that those new tires, he's able to gain on the leaders. He's gaining on Labonte, also Harry Gant, and Dale Earnhardt.
We'll have more live action from Riverside, California, as we follow the exploits of Terry Labonte, Darrell Waltrip, and all the Winston Cup stars after these messages.
He just dropped into the high. Probably he's downshifted at about 140. Now he's probably down to 125 miles an hour, and he'll get up to about 130, 40 miles an hour through the S's.
And if you get off here, this track will really bite you. It can really hurt you here.
This is where we can see if you get off the racetrack, you go straight in that concrete wall on the left side. This is turn 6 we're entering. Where you see all the people. This is where Joe Wither was killed several years ago.
Tough, hard turn. Down into turn number 8. Meanwhile, Richard Petty has moved around Jeff Bodine. Here you see him in a pit, and they had an eyeball-to-eyeball stare down. They were side by side up in turns 2 and 3 a lap ago, and neither lifted. Petty won that confrontation.
And Richard is right behind the 12 car of Neil Bonnet for 4th spot. Richard on the move. Look, there's Neil Bonnet right in front of him.
And Richard wasn't happy about this setup. They lost the motor early. They went to another motor they didn't think was going to carry for them, and got another car spun off. Another car up at turn 6. We've got 2 cars up. That's Eddie Bierschwell's car, and J.D. McDuffie getting back going again. I don't think that's going to bring out a caution. There's J.D. back underway. This is his 17th start. There's Eddie Bierschwell's car. Let's go to Chris Economaki.
Well, I'm standing here with Billy Hagan, the owner of the number 44 Piedmont Airlines team, driven by leader Terry Labonte. Terry seems to have a firm hand on things. Billy, how hard is he pushing the car?
Well, with our new team concept, the team works so well that Terry doesn't have to use the full potential of the car right now. We have a little bit reserved to the occasion call for it.
Telling me he's cruising?
Well, it's difficult to say he's cruising when he's that far in front, but if we had to run harder, we could.
Okay, there you have it. The leader firmly in charge. Back to you, Ken.
Thank you, Chris. Billy Hagan, who had that national championship car. Tremendous sportsmanship on that team. There you see his car, number 44, and there's Earnhardt.
Earnhardt right behind him. Where did he come from?
He is flying.
And Labonte must have gotten off the course someplace or gotten some oil and slowed down, because Earnhardt has gained dramatically, and also Harry Gant.
Terry Labonte up in front by just about 10 car lengths. Terry Labonte went to driving school to get ready for this race. Did it help to learn to drive on this track, Terry?
I'd have to admit it. I believe it did help me a lot. I think the biggest thing it helped me do was become a lot smoother since I've been to that school, and concentrate on being smooth and easy on the equipment and being able to run fast.
Now you're back with this battle between 12 and 43 as you were listening to the experience gained by Labonte in school. It really helped out. That battle is a beauty for 4th spot. There's Richard Petty. He's getting stronger by the race these days.
He is getting very, very strong. He is coming on. This is for 4th spot. Neil Bonnet, a great run for him, currently in 4th. Richard trying to overtake him down the back straightaway. And there's Jeff Bodine for 6th spot. Oh, Richard seems like he's off the pace. No, sorry.
Richard Petty is running this race today with a borrowed engine, and the man who will be his crew chief next year, Dale Inman, is with me. Dale, any reason for that engine borrow this morning, that engine swap?
Well, they had a little bit of trouble with one of their engine with the curb car, and then the other one wasn't quite strong enough, and Buddy Baker, a real good friend of Richard's, and Robert Harrington got together, got their heads together, and offered to let Richard borrow an engine. It seemed to be a little bit better, so Richard run into the race today. I think, you know, my hat's off to Buddy for looking out for an old friend.
And an old teammate. They used to run together as teammates.
And an old teammate, right.
A borrowed engine for Richard Petty, and it's serving him very well right now as he does battle with Neil Bonnet.
1969 and 72 champion, closing up on Neil Bonnet.
And right behind Richard, if we can see him come in the shot, that car right behind Richard Petty is Bobby Allison, another car on the move.
of course, Allison really can run a road course. He is exciting.
Watch Allison in turn 6 close up on Richard and the 12 car of Neil Bonnet.
Again, this is the battle a little further back in the field for 4th position. Now, Richard almost got underneath Neil Bonnet on this corner the last time. Around turn number 8, down the long straightaway. Here comes Allison. Now, Allison is running a Stavola Brothers motor in car number 22 today, and next Tuesday there's a press conference, a week from Tuesday, and I think that's when you're going to hear that Allison joins up with the Stavolas for 1986.
Well, I tell you, the Stavola brothers have some engine builders that used to work for me, both Ronald Perrier, the chief engine builder, and the Allman brothers, Herman, Keith, and Earl, all worked for me at one point in time, and they definitely know how to build some good engines, as witnessed by Bobby Allison's run today.
Don't forget that Richard Petty here in number 43 closing on Bonnet in number 12 has been running on road races since way back, 1963, when he was at Bridgehampton, New York.
They run across some traffic, and it's causing a problem for him. Eddie Birchwell did not realize that Neil Bonnet was right behind him.
Richard Petty, what do you think the biggest disadvantage is at Riverside for you as a driver?
Well, I guess the biggest thing I dislike is the daggum far away from home more than anything else. But the big disadvantage, I guess, is that we don't run the road courses a couple times a year. And I'm just not a road racer, I guess. So from that standpoint, then, you know, I don't really like running on road courses that much. But it looks like if I'm going to keep running, I'm going to have to learn.
And there's more to come. That new L&R series that NASCAR's developed. Oh, car number 45 loops, spins, comes to a halt. Let's see if they're going to bring out a caution for Rick McRae. Bobby Kennedy took over in McRae's car today out of Thousand Oaks, California. Car lying just off the track.
And we can see just how close he is to the racetrack. Well, those cars are just missing him by, it looks like, just a few feet as they go by.
He's right off the apex of that turn, trying to get it fired up. That will bring out a caution if they can't get him out of there. Only twice has the point lead changed during the final Grand National race of the year at this time. First time was 1956 when Buck Baker pulled past Herb Thomas that year to win the championship. Thomas was seriously injured at Shelby, North Carolina a couple weeks before the season ended. And the second time was that 79 incident when Petty slipped by Waltrip at Ontario, California. It does not look like it's going to happen that way today as Darrell Waltrip continues to run in 8th place. Well down is the Bill Elliott car after they've changed some parts of the transmission.
And look at Earnhardt right on Terry Labonte's back bumper. There's another spin.
And they say Petty has come off here. Richard Petty's number 43 back underway at turn number 6.
But lost a lot of valuable time, and the caution flag is out. The caution is coming out.
I wonder if they got some
so
oil
at least Richard will be able to gain back up with Neil Bonnet, the other fellows he was racing with.
Comes at a pretty fortuitous time for pit stops as well, as we get a second caution of the day here at Riverside, California. Terry Labonte continues to lead. 40 laps, have been 2.6-mile Riverside International Raceway. And if you think it gets active out here on the racetrack, take a look at what happened on pit road just moments ago. There is Tim Richmond, who came in on an angle. He backs up. Richmond pulls out. Can't get. It looks like somebody turned the blue light on at the Kmart. Nobody's getting a chance to move.
Well, what happened was Bobby Allison and Neil Bonnet came into pits before Tim Richmond. Didn't leave him any room for his pit stop. So he just pulled. He double parked. And now none of them can get away. There's tires laying on the racetrack. There's people out there, and no one can get out of the way. There's Darrell Waltrip trying to get out. Meanwhile, here comes the car trying to get in. Mass chaos on pit road, ladies and gentlemen.
We're getting a further report that in that, one man was hit, that there was a man injured, that someone, if you saw that can come up, that gas can, that one man was nicked down there. We're trying to get a further report on that right now.
Well, I did see that.
Here's Dave Despain. Dave?
Center Dale Inman. Dale, that pit road is always a problem here at Riverside. It's kind of backwards for these crews. Why is that?
Well, everything the left and right-hand turn makes us different, and it's like being right-handed all year, and all of a sudden you have to do everything left-handed. You go the wrong way on the car, and it's the same way as the driver's going the wrong way on the track.
In other words, when the track runs counterclockwise, you're always working on the left side, but here it runs the other way, so you're going to work on the right side.
Well, no, you work on the left side.
Other way around. Anyway, it's backwards.
Right.
It's like being right-handed and having to do it left-handed. He said it right the first time, yeah.
Moving toward the Barclays Award as they're pushing off that car, number 45, that Bobby Kennedy was driving. They did not get that car fired. So his car comes in. We're waiting for more reports from the pits. Jerry Garrett's down there checking on that story right now that we just mentioned to you. Let's go to Chris Economaki for the moment.
Well, down here in Tim Richmond's pit, the feelings are very bad. Here's the fuel tank. One of the cars came into the pits and struck the man that was handling the overflow tank. He's being treated by doctors now. It knocked the fuel can out of the gas man's hand, sent the fuel can way up in the air, and back down on the track. And everybody in this pit seems to be really upset. Back topside.
It's totally opposite pitting here at Riverside than what you usually do, and it's always a little riskier.
Here's Dave Despain down in pit center.
We're on lap 43 under a caution flag, and that's going to obviously scramble things up a little bit. It gives us the potential, at least, of a new winner in the Barclays halfway run for the money, the $10,000 award that will be given away here at the end of lap 60 to the leader of that lap. For the moment under caution, Lake Speed has gotten himself up to the front of the field. Terry Labonte and Dale Earnhardt have both been Chargers all day and have run up front. They are previous winners of that award. Obviously, when they throw the green flag, there's going to be a big scramble, and one of the incentives, one of the carrots out there dangling on the stick is $10,000 for the Barclays halfway run for the money. Meanwhile, the Goodies Headache Award, I have not seen any contenders yet to take the crown away from Bill Elliott, who's had the biggest headache of the day in the form of an $8 gear shift part.
A championship to be decided here, and our congratulations to a championship that was resolved a week ago. Al Unser Sr. winning that fourth place finish last week over Al Unser Jr. by 1 point.
That was
great racing family, and they keep on proving it year after year.
That was a dramatic race. I watched some of that on TV, and what a dramatic finish. 1 point victory. I felt like we might be able to get something like that today, and we still might. But it looks as though Darrell Waltrip has things going his own way.
It'd be a hard pull. It would be a hard pull at this time. As Waltrip stays there, and it looks like he's babying this car, staying in 8th position, looking for his 3rd championship. All of the Junior Johnson team. The rumor keeps coming around that Waltrip wants to form his own team. I can't for the life of me understand why. All the pressure of owning the team and dealing with the press and getting the parts. He can really deal with the press and work with them and almost manipulate them as he wants to. And Junior Johnson can sit there and very quietly do all that strategy and all that planning and all that worrying, which has made Junior Johnson such a tremendous car builder.
I wonder about that myself, and I've heard that Darrell wants to go in the race car ownership business, and I can hardly believe it because he, as you mentioned, he is so good. He is the best that we have with an interview. I mean, he makes great interviews. But I think Darrell Waltrip is a racer through and through. And he wants to prove to the world that not only can Darrell Waltrip drive a race car, that yes, he can own a team and run a team.
Is that the Peter principle?
It's Darrell Waltrip principle.
Let's go to Dave Despain.
We're in the STT Pit Communications Center with the gentleman with the most financial interest in the race here today. Jerry Long is the president and chief executive officer of the R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company. You've got $250,000 for the winner of the championship. We were expecting a dogfight. Doesn't look like it's going to turn out that way.
No, it's unfortunate that it may not turn out that way. Looks like right now, with Bill being down around 20 laps, but of course, like anything else, you never can tell what happened. The same unfortunate thing that happened to Bill may also happen to Darrell. And Darrell could be out there sliding in the oil, an engine could go, could also have transmission problems. But we are quite confident that it'll still end up to be a good race because Bill Elliott is running great out there right now. So Darrell is just going to keep on pushing. So we still, I think it's going to go down. As the man said, you have to wait till when it's over, it's over. And I think this is what's going to happen in this year's Winston Cup race.
Jerry, I got word we're going back to green. Hats off to Winston. It's been a great season.
Thank you very much. It's been a sensational season.
Ken?
Indeed, it has been a sensational season. We're just back under green. Green is out, and there you see Terry Labonte in front. Dale Earnhardt right there in second. Harry Gant in third. Bodine in fourth. Richard Petty holding on. see Bill Elliott as a lap car running with him. Richard Petty is running in 5th, and right behind him, 43, is the number 22. And that number 22 is Bobby Allison. There's Elliott's car, number 9. Gamely out here, sticking with it, trying to score whatever he can. Leaders rumbling around, turn number 9. Car number 22 may have been showing a bit of smoke. Allison's car, number 22, going up to the S's. The top of your picture there for a moment.
Hey, Conor Mackey, what do you have to tell us?
Okay, how many remember 1973 and the oil crisis and no gas at the gas stations, the lines a block long? Well, that's what the case is here after a pit stop, as all the crewmen bring those 11-gallon gas tanks up to the Union 76 pumps to get the racing gasoline filled up for the next round of pit stops. It's a game of waiting and patience behind the pits. Back to you, Ken.
A little impatience up here in front right now, Chris, as Dale Earnhardt and Harry Gant close in on Terry Labonte another time.
Boy, they are closing in bumper to bumper. Again, I was going to say that everything in Winston Cup racing is a race. We're looking at the screen right now, great race between 5 or 6 good cars. On pit road, it's a race to see who can change the tires the best. And once those gas cans are empty, it's a race to see who can get them back to the gas station to get them filled up the first. Bill Elliott takes a look at Harry Gant going in turn 9.
He's running with them, but he can't run by them. That's too bad. He really needs to be able to get anything collected here in any kind of positions and run away from them. And right in front here, as we come down by, watching Bobby Allison in the number 22 car. He puts out a lot of smoke, and there he is as he follows Richard Petty.
There is definitely some smoke in the rear of that car. I'm not sure what it is.
It looks like when he steps off the throttle for a moment. I'm not sure here. There you see him. Allison.
It certainly doesn't seem to affect the running of the automobile.
Now here's the report. Tim Richmond ran over the foot of one of his crewmen who's been taken over here to the
Yeah, we can see a great deal of smoke out of the back of the 22 car, Bobby Allison, right then.
Now, let me repeat. Tim Richmond ran over the foot of one of his crewmen. We'll try to get an identity for you and get that to you just as soon as we can. It is not more serious than that, but that's serious enough.
Bobby's got a serious problem, Ken. We see a great deal of smoke.
Everybody really on those score charts, and you run on a road course. Here's Dave Despade.
Let's play another round of our game if the race ended now. We're approaching midway in this event. Bill Elliott is back on the racetrack. He is running last among the cars still in competition, but with 8 cars out, he is now 37th in the event. Darrell Waltrip has dropped back, far back from where he was originally. He's back to an 11th position, matching the number on the race car, by the way, but he did lead a lap, so he gets a 5-point bonus. That result, Elliott would have 52 points more from today, while Waltrip would have an additional 152 points. And if the race ended now, Darrell Waltrip would win the championship by 115 points. We're going to follow that action all the way to the finish, so stand by for more from Riverside as the Western 500 continues.
Number 6, Tim Richmond's car is out. Front end destroyed. It crashed with Phil Parsons, number 17, and the Rusty Wallace car. Wallace continued around the course. I believe Parsons' car has moved around as well.
Yes, I did see his car.
Is a DNF. There's Tim out of the automobile. This happened at lap 46. Here's a replay. Car drops on the bottom.
That's Phil. It looks like he missed turn 5 for some reason. I don't know why.
T-bone.
Richmond right in the side of the automobile.
And then scraping the side in the dust with no vision was Rusty Wallace in car number 2 of the Aluguard machine. Parsons spinning.
Phil is back on the racetrack going through turn 9 right now. I don't know. I can't see the car to see how much damage there is.
Now from the in-car camera, let's see what we can gather here. There's the dust.
Oh,
just
right in the back of Richmond.
Right into the back of Richmond, and it stopped him short. I thought he went by.
There's Phil's car on pit road right now.
The number 2 car then continued around the course, came back in, and it's back on the track, but it really took a hit, as you saw from that in-car camera. Tim Richmond trying, I believe, to get across the track.
I think he's trying to bum a ride, isn't he? Now I guess you're right. He's going across the track to talk to someone.
wants to see his fans up there, turn 6. That's the third caution of the day. Lap 46 is when it happened, if you're keeping track at home, folks. Now, Bobby Allison, just as we went to commercial, they put a black flag out on him, consultation flag, because of all that smoke. And I'm wondering if they were just leaking some oil out of that car. You see them.
It looks like it
the
could
nose.
possibly have been a gasket or something leaking, and they are trying to replace it right now.
This is coming to you live on the Superstation, WTBS, the last round of the Winston Cup Series for 1985. There's Herschel McGriff, who won his 14th race at Riverside yesterday afternoon. Truly a racing legend. Now 58 years old, still winning races out here. The stories about him, they are legend. Running the Pan American Road Race in the early 50s, winning it, driving the same car to Darlington, South Carolina, racing at Darlington, then driving the car all the way home to Portland, Oregon. They don't do that anymore.
They sure don't. Here's Jerry Gary with something for us.
Is that a yes, Jim?
That's a yes.
Well, an interested spectator down here in the garage area is Reggie Jackson, and you're quite a fan of stock cars, aren't you, Reggie?
Well, I sure am. You know, it gets to be expensive sometimes, but I'm a car fan, a car freak, and I just really like it.
Who are you rooting for out here today?
Well, I have some friends here, you know, since I have so many Chevrolets and guys like Herb Fischel and people are Chevrolet friends of mine, I guess I kind of pull for Walt Tripp and Junior Johnson. I have a personal friend here by the name of Raymond Meal and the Blue Max team and Tim Richmond, so I like the way it's going. I'm excited about it.
Well, Reggie Jackson, Mr. October, enjoying a nice November day in Riverside Raceway.
Thank you, Reggie. I think we're very close to a start. Getting down to it in one lap. We'll be back underway again here at Riverside, California on the Superstation, home of the NBA this year. Great games coming up.
There's Darrell Waltrip. A couple quick updates from down pit side. Bobby Allison had a cooling line come off the transmission. That's what was causing all the smoke. And Dale Inman is concerned about all these caution flags. Why, Dale?
At the top of the program, they talked about a shortage in tires, and of course, when they have these cautions real close together, everybody comes in and gets 4 tires, and when you start multiplying that out, that certainly takes away a lot of tires.
Can you put tires back on the race car once you take them off?
You can, but you're really taking the edge off of them after they've been run.
So in other words, if you make the decision to change at every stop and run yourself out of tires, then you got no real alternative.
Well, you need new tires at the end of the race because you don't know when the caution is going to fall, and you need new tires if you have to make a run for it.
We're going back to a green flag condition. Let's go back to Ken Squire.
With 51 laps complete, when they take that green, as we get closer to that Barclays American Award of $10,000 for the leader at mid-race. 119 laps the distance. And remember, Goodyear brought, what, 1,000 tires. Had they known that it was going to lift the tire rule, I think they'd have brought 1,200 is the real word.
1,000 tires to run 325 miles. Seems incredible. The green flag is out there back racing down the back straightaway, Ken.
And as they do, Labonte is first, Earnhardt is second, Neil Bonnet third, Jim Bound fourth, Buddy Baker started fifth, Harry Gannon sixth. There's Buddy Baker in the 88 car. Here we are, right back up in front. Terry Labonte and Dale Earnhardt. A couple of real Chargers getting it on, and Neil Bonnet looking good today.
Neil Bonnet had one of his better runs of the year. Neil Bonnet won a couple of races back in the spring, but in the last 2 or 3 months has fallen on hard times. Not today. Look at him right on the back of Dale Earnhardt.
$10,000 up here very shortly. Everybody wetting their chops and wanting to get a bite out of this 10 grand from Barclays America. Here's that one.
I tell you what, that $10,000 is about like the last lap of the race because it's $10,000 right now. We don't have to run another 50 laps to get it, and those guys really go for it.
Coming down on the inside, here's Terry Labonte closing right in. Labonte in car number 12 out of the Junior Johnson stable. A lot of people say that was not the way to do it with a 2-car team, but nothing seems to hurt Junior Johnson these days. He puts his mind to it. And when you think about the number of people that have graduated from the Junior Johnson School of Technical Skills on Race Cars, it's incredible. Probably a third of the people down here, one time or another, worked for Junior along pit road.
Probably his most notable graduate is Travis Carter, who is running the Harry Gant Skull Bandit team for Hal Needham. Just a great mechanic and worked with Junior for about 2-3 years.
Closing ground, moving up. Here comes Bonnet in the red and white, number 12. Remember earlier this year on the Superstation, you saw him right through the fence in Richmond, Virginia back in February. Here he is closing here again today. One thing about these fences, if you hit them, you don't go through them. Now to Dave Despain at the SCP Pit Center.
It was just a month ago today that Terry Labonte and Ron Bouchard came down to the line live on TBS at Rockingham, just about that far apart, and Labonte won the $10,000 Barclays Run for the Money. It could be just that close between Labonte, Earnhardt, and a new winner, Neil Bonnet. If the things continue to run the way they are now with this tight three-car battle, we're at lap 51. 60 is the magic number. One note on Terry Labonte. We checked with his crew just a few minutes ago. They said the car's running better. And then he thought a minute and he said, as a matter of fact, the car's running better than it's ever run before. These guys may be in big trouble. Ken?
Dave, one of the things that keeps them out of trouble here are the radios. This is one course where radio control to your driver is absolutely essential.
It is essential, and it's because here the cars can run out of fuel up in turn 2, turn 3. In the essence, if it runs out of fuel, he will not make it back. So if the radio goes out, you're in a lot of trouble. We see Bobby Allison still smoking.
And he's out of the top 15 at the present time, and they have not been able to cure the malady in car number 22. Here's Allison, who's making a good run of it, had third here in June, has won here previously, and is a very good road racer, but he's having some problems today, as that Stavola Brothers motor has developed a problem.
They said the transmission had at the Riverside road course, they have to run coolers on the transmission. And Dave Despain had someone that said one of the oil lines came loose in the transmission was leaking oil, transmission fluid on the exhaust system, and that's where the smoke is coming from. As there we see Terry Labonte, Dale Earnhardt, Neil Bonnet, Harry Gant, the first 4 cars, all bumper to bumper.
Dale Earnhardt right there in that second position. Dale, what do you worry about when you're racing here in Riverside?
So many things can happen here. You know, you get in trouble so easy here. So there's too many variables that come into it here. You can have a flat tire. You know, get off the course. You know, a slow car can mess you up. And traffic really bothers you racing around here. So like it wouldn't on the speedway. So you know, I think it's got more to do with more things could happen here than it could on the speedway.
Dale Earnhardt has just told his crew chief on the radio, quote, "I'm pacing myself. I'm waiting for the midway lap because that's where the money is."
And that lap is now 8 away. 8 laps away is that $10,000 run for Barclays American. And that's the word. Earnhardt is trying to set Labonte up and take that 10 grand.
He's trying to pass him right now, as a matter of fact.
Oh, he's not going to get it. Back into turn number 1. Texas Terry showing some true grit and holds on to that front running position. Bonnet lies there in third.
Oh, Earnhardt gets a little sideways in turn 2. I was going to comment that following Labonte that close going in the corners is a problem because it takes your visibility away. All you can see is the car. You really don't know where the line is. Earnhardt missed it, got the car sideways.
One big difference here between what we see in the super speedway runs for the halfway money is that it's a much more difficult course, a much more strategic course on which to pass. If Earnhardt's going to make that move, he can't wait and slingshot off turn 9 on the money lap. He's got to try to make that move earlier, so it's a much more strategic run for the Barclays money here.
The 4th place man is Harry Gant. Remember, he was second here in June, and he's right up here in the midst of the hunt. Waltrip, meanwhile, flies back. He's in 14th position. Trouble in the pits for Bobby Allison's car still another time. Heartbreaking year for Allison. Front 3 getting down as we get close to the halfway mark, and we'll be back to show you who comes out $10,000 richer shortly here at Riverside, California in our live coverage on the Superstation. Point here in the Winston Western 500, and you're watching a real battle develop as Neil Bonnet shows some strength and moves into second place. Back comes Earnhardt. That's the battle for second. Labonte is in first. It is now Neil Bonnet in second, Dale Earnhardt in third. Harry Gant is in fourth as they near the time for a $10,000 bonus out here.
Neil Bonnet, great run for him today. Dale Earnhardt might have been laying back, just trying to wait to win that $10,000, but he's got a big problem right now. He's third.
About 3 laps to go to that $10,000 award. Say, what about the Goodies Award today? You got any nominations? How about your top 3?
Well, that question's almost like the price of real estate. What affects the price of real estate? Location, location, location. The winner for the Goodies thing today, no problem. Bill Elliott, Bill Elliott, Bill Elliott.
Here's that slugfest going on, and it's a real doozy for second position as Neil Bonnet is there. Directly behind him comes Earnhardt. Harry Gant just out of the picture in 4th. Around turn number 8, Terry Labonte for the moment. Boy, they've got the scent of money right now.
That corner they just went through is such a difficult corner, and especially when you're in a situation like those 4 drivers are right now. Each one of them wants to gain on the other one in that corner, and you invariably stand on the accelerator just a little bit too soon, spin the rear tires, and lose ground rather than gain it. But these guys are doing a super job getting through that corner and not becoming impatient, as sometimes you can.
Dale Earnhardt, who won it at the World 600 in Charlotte, North Carolina. Neil Bonnet, car number 12, he won a $10,000 bonus when he led at the halfway point in Pocono, Pennsylvania. Terry Labonte won it at Rockingham. Pretty cushiony money to pick up for a halfway point in a race, and Terry Labonte's trying to draw away. Here he is with about a 5-6 car length advantage. Back to the S's to turn number 6. Right where Tim Richmond crashed a few moments ago. I think he ought to be the 3rd candidate for that Goodies Award today. That was a hard knock.
It was a hard knock.
Crewman got hurt.
And he's a man that qualified outside pole, needed to win a race. But nevertheless, Bill Elliott had so much to win and so much to lose here today. And to go out so early, not even have an opportunity to see how the car was going to perform today.
We'll have to check the attrition for you in a moment or two to take a look at how many cars have fallen out, because it's still early in the going. We're still on the near side of the halfway mark. Here are those front 4. That 175-mile-per-hour straightaway. There you see Bonnet. Here comes Earnhardt. And then Harry Gant, number 33, running the 4th position.
4 Chevrolet Monte Carlos, all very close.
Interesting on this track. This track favors the Fords on 2 turns, and it favors the Chevrolets on a couple of turns, the way it works out.
That fellow right there, Terry Labonte, announced last week or a couple of weeks ago in Atlanta, he's going to drive an Oldsmobile next year.
Oldsmobile's going to be slick. You're going to drive an Oldsmobile.
I'm going to drive an Oldsmobile, and I'm going to have Terry Labonte. Oh, the 33 car, Harry Gant, getting a little sideways coming off turn 9.
All the wind tunnel testing begins next week. Richard Petty will be in a wind tunnel on Wednesday with their new Pontiac. They've got a nose somewhat like the SS Monte Carlo and a real sleek rear deck. The Oldsmobile, I understand you're having trouble getting all the parts under the hood.
Yeah, well, we just had to move the cowl, but the piece of metal between the engine and the driver, we had to relocate that.
Let's go down to the pits of Terry Labonte right now. There's the 4th place car. Front 4 all together. Terry Labonte's pits is the place where it's going to be jubilant in a moment or two, and see what the story is there.
Well, they're paying attention to business down here. In fact, I had to tell them that they're in for $10,000 if Labonte stays out in front when he crosses the line this time. And when the crew chief said to me, "Are you sure?" Steve Neal here with his watches in his hand. We should see some emotion here, but they're really concerned with hanging on to the lead and hopefully winning this contest. Walter Wood, one of the car owners, didn't even know about the award. He said, "Really? What do we have to do to get it?" I said, "Stay out in front for 2 more laps." Back to you.
He stayed out in front. He's drawing away. Halfway mark is about to come on. Then it's when they come by the next time that will award that $10,000. Here he is, just about sideways through turn number 9. Terry Labonte with a 15-car length advantage as they come to the halfway point. And this is the lap that counts.
No, he's already won.
They threw the balloons in the air and the next one in.
Oh, there they go, as we speak.
Oh, there they are.
Terry Labonte, winner of the Barclays American Run for the Money, $10,000.
Here he is up to the S's. Well, that was a quick 10 grand.
It was not too bad. The other car moved over, told Terry, go by on the inside. The only problem was that the other fellows did not. There, the balloons are going up. That tells the fans that Terry Labonte has won the Barclays American Run for the Money.
Okay, so Terry Labonte in car number 44, trying to pull away here now. Going after it. Whoa, Neil Bonnet sideways for a moment.
That's the corner I was talking about just a moment ago. When you try, it becomes so hard to get off that corner without spinning the rear tires and getting the car sideways. great
out of the race thus far. To come to the halfway point, there you see him. Attrition, Ron Esau's out, Trevor Boyce has retired his car, Rick McRae and Tim Richmond. So only 4 of the 40 starters have gone away. Should something happen to a guy like Darrell Waltrip before this is over, the attrition continue to develop through the afternoon, it could give a mathematical chance to Bill Elliott, but it's a big mathematical chance. Harry Gant in car number 33 just rolls around Dale Earnhardt for 3rd spot. And we'll have more live coverage from Riverside, California on the Superstation after these words. Superstation from Riverside, California. Richard Petty just spotted turn number 9. There was no caution. He pitted quickly, came back on the course. Here's Ricky Rudd's number 15, just still making a stout showing today. He's up to 5th place.
And he had that unscheduled pit stop way 30, 40 laps ago. Had to go clear to the back of the pack. He's back up to 5th spot.
Battle in front. There he is. Terry Labonte, number 44, has gone away a bit. But in 2nd place, it's car number 12, Neil Bonnet, being challenged by the green and white livery of this bandit, number 33, Gant, closing all the time. And right with him comes Dale Earnhardt. Gant moving up to squabble for 2nd position here. Harry Gant just off for a moment, coming into that long straightaway. It'll be Neil Bonnet in the 2nd spot, and roosting right on the rear bumper is car number 33. Road racing for the Winston Cup stars of NASCAR. Riverside, California, final race of the season, this $20 million series. We talked earlier about Bobby Isaac. Isaac had a great line about racing here for the first time. He said, I was off the course and in the woods so often the animals were beginning to recognize me.
I tell you what, you take some of the true oval track racers from back on the East Coast, and when they come out to Riverside for the first time, you know, I was a half-mile, quarter-mile type of race car driver when I first came to Riverside, and I knocked the wall down up in the Essex in turn 3, could not the gap, navigate the corner, backed it in the fence, and knocked the rear end off of it.
Here's number 33. It's the school of hard knocks. To knock on any wall here, any corner. And Harry Gant is once again closing, trying to move in on car number 12, Neil Bonnet. What a skirmish we have for 2nd place. It could change right here at this turn number 6.
Look at Earnhardt. Right, oh, do you see the rear right front come off the ground on Earnhardt's car? That's a great shot from our cameraman up there.
Here they are down for turn number 8. Bonnet has that 2nd spot. Here's Handsome Harry chasing him down. And right after him, slithering through the corner, comes Dale Earnhardt.
The problem is that these fellas are racing each other so hard, Terry Labonte is getting away from them. And Labonte has no one to race with. He can take a nice, smooth, easy lap and gain on these other 3 cars.
Back to 175 miles per hour, long straightaway. Here they come for turn 9. And let's see if Gant can do anything with Neil Bonnet right here. Closes in, moves in. Pulls up on him, comes down to within a car length here, continues to inch through. He had him off this corner once and lost him. He's there, he slides just a little. Back to the line. Gant puts the foot down, moves in on turn 1, has the line.
He has a line.
He's going to run out of it right here, however, if he can't get by. Harry Gant is on his way. He's got the spot.
What a great move by Bonnet. What a great gesture for Bonnet, because he could have tried Harry for that spot, and if they go in the corner side by side, the chances are both of them are going to crash. There's a slow car, Clark Wire in front.
They find their way through. Harry Gant.
And look who's right behind those 3 cars. Bill Elliott's Coors Mellon Ford.
Here he comes, and Ricky Rudd is there, right behind that Bill Elliott car. An exciting race in Riverside, California. There's been action all over the country, and let's now get ready to go to Bob Barsham. He's standing by with a report on other racing news this weekend at the GM Goodwrench Motor Week News Center. Here's Bob. Have been completed, 52 to go here at Riverside, California. The man that sat on the pole, Terry Labonte. Outside pole, Tim Richmond. As it now stands, Terry Labonte, past the halfway point, is still in front. Harry Gant is in 2nd. Neil Bonnet in 3rd. Dale Earnhardt 4th. Ricky Rudd 5th. Jim Bound is 6th. Jeff Bodine is 7th. 8th is Buddy Baker. 9th is Lake Speed. 10th is Darrell Waltrip. 11th is Hillen. 12th Bouchard. 13th Ruben Garcia. 14th is Wesley Wallace. 15th is Jim Robinson. 15th, Glenn Stewart. 16th, Herschel McGriff. 17th, Scott Octree. 18th, Bill Parsons. And Derek Cope is in 20th. The major story thus far in the race, in the very early laps, before lap 10 had been registered, transmission problems on Bill Elliott. That put him into the pits for many laps. He's way, way back outside the top 20 standings. Darrell Waltrip went out in front, led just a lap, took the 5 bonus points, and then has been willing to play it relatively cool from here on in. Again, we now have some 67 laps scribbled into the record book, and they most, for the most part, have been all Terry Labonte's.
Bill Elliott lost 24 laps. 24 laps repairing the transmission. Darrell Waltrip right now 10th place. Darrell is simply cruising, trying to keep his car alive, because if he can keep it alive, he is the champion.
And that man right behind him, number 8, is Bobby Hillen. He is in the 11th position. Waltrip is in 10th, and Bobby Hillen is in 11th. Let's see if he's willing to give that position away. Championship at stake. $250,000 bonus from R.J. Reynolds. They say the championship, with all the residuals they get these days, is worth about $1 million, some different than when you won it back in the early 70s.
In 1973, I won the Winston Cup Championship, and it was worth about $80,000.
That's about, what, 4th or 5th place the way they give money away this year. Darrell Waltrip, to what do you attribute your road racing ability, sir?
On-the-job training. It's been tough, too. I've hit everything you can hit out here. I've hit every wall, every dirt bank. I've been off everywhere you can go off. I'd have to think that I was probably one of the most spectacular drivers to ever come here in the beginning. And it seems to work out very well now. I enjoy racing here. I think it's fun. I just think about being out in the country somewhere and just having a good time in my old 57 Chevy like I used to do.
Oh, yeah. Darrell Waltrip's first major league victory was back in 1972. Guy in number 11. And that's a great story. United States Auto Club then had a stock car circuit. They went to his second hometown. Owensboro is really his hometown, but he was in Nashville, where he had a fair reputation. And the USAC regulars saw no problem letting this local kid just come in and race even without a USAC license. And the local kid went out and blew their doors off. I think they had to buy a license after that.
Let's go to Jerry Garrett down on pit road.
Well, Benny, we've been talking to Junior Johnson. Of course, he's Darrell Waltrip's car owner, and asking if everything's okay. And he says everything's humming along sweetly in that number 11, even though it's in 10th spot. One thing we noticed down here in the pits is this is a veritable auto parts store. They've got everything they need down here in case they have a problem. And one of the telling aspects, here's a transmission. When Bill Elliott had transmission problems, their transmission was back in the truck. Junior Johnson's got here standing by right here if they need it. You say they could get 50 points worth of working for Junior Johnson, and that's what they've been getting. That's what they have here.
I rode down in the elevator this morning with Mrs. Johnson, and we got down to the next floor down and onto the elevator. And when I said, you know, good luck to you today, Mrs. Johnson, she says, I'm going to sit on the back porch here in Riverside and watch it. I don't want to watch the racetrack. I'll just look in the parking lot. But she says, we're all ready. We're going to be perfectly okay about this. They're both good drivers, and I wish that they both have a lot of good luck. At that point, the elevator door opened to the next floor. In walked Stevie Waltrip, and she cried.
I saw Flossie this morning, and she was beside herself. She was so nervous. We saw Bobby Hillen coming off turn 6. Getting the car a little bit sideways as he comes off the corner. Darrell Waltrip not getting the car sideways at all. Great line around the racetrack, just taking it easy, keeping the thing alive. You know, Bill Elliott, as I mentioned a moment ago, lost 24 laps. Well, I think when this race has 24 laps to go, and Darrell Waltrip is there's Labonte. Terry Labonte, the leader, is on pit road. As we watch, there's Terry Labonte coming in the pits.
Green flag stop on Terry Labonte. Going for left side tires.
I would expect they'll only change 2 tires since it is a green flag stop.
Candace now first.
No, they're going around. They're going to change 4.
Wow.
4 tires on the green flag.
Clock ticking away. Changing 4 tires, folks. Tell your local filling station operator you'd like to have 4 tires changed and a tank of gas in 25 1/10 of a second and see what they'll tell you.
They'll tell you to go down to the NASCAR garage here and have those guys do it.
Dale Inman, let's talk about that pit stop a little bit. You're busily calculating laps over there. Any theories on whether that was good or bad strategy?
Well, evidently they had a tire down and they had to come in, but changing forward was good because he can run real quick now. But he'll probably have to stop again. That's what I was trying to figure out because there are so many laps to go.
He's not going to be able to run to the finish, and now Rusty Wallace is on pit road.
And he came in a hurry, and it looked like he'd been beaten up again.
A great deal of smoke coming out of the back of the oligarch Pontiac. It looks like Rusty have very, very serious problems.
Originally out of Fenton, Missouri, now residing in North Carolina. Rumor is he's going to be on the Raymond Beadle team next year. There's the scene from inside. That's what he sees with the hood up on that car. Hood is coming down. The gloves are coming off.
That's a bad sign. When you see the gloves coming off, that's a bad sign. And we can see him casually pushing the car away, getting it off pit row and out of harm's way.
And that's a hard push because it's an uphill push here. Oh, that's the hardest thing. You see a little smoke coming out of the car. He really wanted to give it a good run. This guy is good. This Wallace is as good as there is, and he proves it when he goes back to the ASA and runs against Waldrop and Bonnet and those guys, and he beats them pretty good.
Very good race car driver. I think he's won 2 or 3 ASA events this year, big events, 300-400 lappers on some of the half-mile racetracks all around the country.
And who's going to forget that great run he made for Roger Penske at Atlanta when they first saw him in Winston Cup racing? He really gave that car a ride. Rusty Wallace apparently out of it for today. Crew rolling him back. Meanwhile, up in front, Gant is first, Bonnet is second, Dale Earnhardt third, Ricky Rudd is in fourth. The drivers' meeting this morning, Dick Beatty had an interesting thing to tell all those drivers about this champ. Oh,
Harry Gant is spinning in turn 9. Bill Elliott's right. Bill gets by.
Looked like, I'm not sure if that was tire smoke or motor smoke.
No, that was tire smoke. The car is running.
Away.
He's going away. He's pulling away.
No caution.
I don't believe this.
Just went flat into the car, went away, and now Neil Bonnet's your leader. Earnhardt comes to second. Ricky Rudd up to third. Let's see if he'll pit. He may just cut a tire down here. Still wobbles a little. He's trapped, can't get in. There's car number 5 on the inside. Moving up through the what has been the 6th place man, now the 5th place man, Jeff Bodine. Rick Hendrick's car. Let's look in replay at the leader, Harry Gant, at turn 9.
He goes in the corner just like he's been going in the corner, but the car just goes away. I don't know if he has a flat tire or Harry just lost it. He was a little bit too high. And so there goes Bill Elliott. You know, you talk about compounding your problems. Can you imagine after having a transmission problem, had he collided with Harry Gant?
Harry Gant still on the course. And we'll be back with more live action in the season finale here on the Superstation, live after these messages.
National Raceway, the race for the Winston Cup Championship. And when last we played our game of If the Race Ended Now, we had Darrell Waltrip in front of Bill Elliott. Hard luck, Bill Elliott, today by 115 points. There's been a little seesawing here, not between the two cars, but in terms of Waltrip's position. He fell all the way back to 14th spot at one time in the race. That would have given him a 91-point cushion over Elliott. Now he's picked up the tempo. He's back up into 10th spot, and he leads by 105. And that would be the margin if the race ended right now over Bill Elliott. Elliott's problem is he's 24 laps down. The only way he can pick up positions from 37th, where he's running now, is by people falling out of the race. He lost too many laps to make a real challenge on Darrell Waltrip, unless Waltrip has a tremendous amount of trouble, and that can happen fast here in Riverside. Also here today, we're contesting the nationwide event, and we're going to be talking more about who the contenders are for the day. As far as hard luck, I don't think anybody can challenge Bill Elliott here this afternoon. We've got Neil Bonnet on pit road. Neil Bonnet is in car number 12. They anticipated a possible problem with that car because he missed a shift early in the day, or early in the running, in that battle that he was just having with Dale Earnhardt and Terry Labonte. Over-revved the engine. They thought there was a possibility that might cause a later problem. That was a tire stop. Now let's look at that nationwide situation for drivers who have never won a Grand National race but are having the best performance here today. We have a $1,000 award for the driver who comes home today in that situation. And believe me, it is a hotly contested event. The guys who have never won a race before obviously want to take that checkered flag for that primary reason. But
For those who don't, the best performer will pick up $1,000 worth of goodies from Nationwide. We're going to have to take a look at those standings a little later on. Right now, we've got a battle going on out there. And Ricky Rudd has suddenly, or once again, we should say, emerged as a factor here with the pit stops. Rudd has taken over the lead in the Western 500. Ken?
Neil Bonnet pitting, and just as before he came into the pits, this car number 15 has gone by. Now we should see Rudd come in right here. Indeed, that's the case. Rudd is going to pit. We'll have let all the leaders in except Bodine. This should bring Bodine into first place, bring Gant back up into second, and move Waltrip into third.
And here comes Gant. Gant is coming in the pits as well.
Harry Gant is in. There's the tire change. That Budmore crew, they sparkle on pit road. He really marshals that team around.
4 tires for Ricky. Dale Earnhardt, as far as I think, the only competitor who has not changed 4 tires. He only changed 2.
The report is that the man injured in the 27 incident, as we're watching Harry Gant here, was Conrad Manning, who was hit by the 27 car, the gas man, and he may have a broken arm.
That's too bad.
A late story on what we saw happen on pit road with car number 27, where they had that massive pit stop. Harry Gant is back underway. Neil Bonnet's number 12, Jeff Bodine's number 5, Waltrip, Earnhardt in 4th, Terry Labonte 5th at the present time. A few moments ago, you started to tell us about what Dick Beatty told those drivers this morning concerning the battle between Elliott and Waltrip.
In the drivers' meeting today, before each and every race, NASCAR has a drivers' meeting, and they go over the rules and the rules that pertain to this racetrack. In the drivers' meeting, Dick Beatty said to the other competitors, I'm telling you, if you hit one of those cars, 9 or 11, you better go find that other one and hit him as well, because I ain't going to have you hit just one of them.
There better be a ding in any fender that matches the other one.
That's right. Darrell Waltrip and Bobby Hillin still going at it in turn 9. No, that's Earnhardt. Darrell Waltrip is the leader of the race right now.
I think Bodine
is still the leader, yes.
Bodine is in first, and we should have Waltrip, I believe, in second now, but he may be getting ready to come.
He's coming in the pits. Darrell Waltrip in the pits.
And he takes it very easily on the pit road.
And I'm sure that he's going to change 4 tires. Jerry Garrett is with him.
Well, it looks like a routine stop, Benny. They're putting on the left side tires now. Darrell's getting a drink. They're putting in 2 of those big 18-gallon cans of fuel. They're coming around looking at the right side, but they're not going to change the right side. Just 2 tires. That's different from the rest of the leaders.
Here he comes back on the track. Darrell Waltrip asked Waltrip earlier if tire wear was going to be critical if he had to run hard today.
Here in this race last year, we ran away from the field. I mean, we had a pretty big lead on everybody, and we made our first routine pit stop and didn't change tires. The next time we had to stop because our tires.
Car number 88, Buddy Baker, has spun in turn number 6. He is, correction, that is not turn number 6. That's up in the S's. Baker is off the track. It has not brought out a caution flag. He's getting back underway. Baker, who has his own team this year, car number 88, this Oldsmobile, rolling back on the track.
Looks like he had a problem going in turn 2 just at the beginning of the S's.
He was in 8th position. Now Bodine, the leader, is on pit road. Jeff Bodine, number 5, first place car, has pulled in 4 tires. Here's Baker getting back on the track and pulling off again. Had been running in 8th.
Something wrong with that car, it looks though, because Baker just pulled. There's Jeff Bodine, the Levi Garrett car, in the pits. They've changed the left sides to the right sides. He also is changing 4 tires. Car is down, he's away. A pit stop of 26.3 seconds.
Gives the lead to Earnhardt. Terry Labonte to second. Waltrip to third in the latest rundown. Let's hear what Waltrip had to say about tire wear being critical if you run hard on this track today.
Here in this race last year, we ran away from the field. I mean, we had a pretty big lead on everybody, and we made our first routine pit stop and didn't change tires. The next time we had to stop because our tires were worn out.
Coarse track was how Labonte talked about it, as we mentioned earlier. It really gobbles up the rubber. That's not anything wrong with the tires. This track is just a rubber eater.
The first 30 or 40 laps of the race, does wear the tires significantly. As these cars get rubber on the racetrack, as they make laps around the racetrack, that problem does get better.
They've been coming here for a long time. Back in November of 1963 at Riverside, they held the season finale for NASCAR Winston Cup.
There goes the battle for the lead, Ken. That's Dale Earnhardt is the leader. Terry Labonte second place. Labonte was under him off turn 9. Dale Earnhardt beats him back to turn 2.
And Jim Bound, the West Coast driver, is up to third place with these pit stops in car number 98. Rusty Wallace is standing by with Dave Despain at the STP Pit Center.
We've seen the round of routine pit stops put Dale Earnhardt out in front. There was nothing routine about your stop, Rusty. What's the story?
No, Dave, we lost another engine, and I don't know what's causing it. Had an oiling problem right from the start of the race, and the car wouldn't run at all. I was getting beat by 6 or 8 car lengths down the back straightaway. Then the engine just kept slowing down throughout the day, and finally put us out. So that's it for the year. The year's all over. Now we've got time to go back and regroup and try to figure out all the problems we had all year long.
Any hints on next year? What's going to be happening for Rusty?
No comment right now. Looks like I'll be right where I'm at right now, but we have to get back to the shop and talk some things over and try to get all these problems straightened out.
I don't want to see you right back where you are right now on the sidelines. I want to see you on the racetrack, okay?
Thank you very much.
Rusty Wallace.
Tremendous battle for the lead here. Here comes 44, Terry Labonte on the inside. As they come to turn 9, Labonte trying to get under, and Earnhardt won't let him through. Let's watch the action for turn 1 and up through the S's. Terry Labonte showing a lot of strength in that car, number 44. Dad, part of that crew chief combination of that car. Here they come into turn 1 into the inside, moves Terry Labonte. Earnhardt moves over, holds the line for the S's now. Labonte sits there waiting, perched on that rear bumper of car number 3, looking for any kind of an advantage. Take your best hold and go to turn number 6. Here they come. Tremendous crowd here in Riverside, California, watching this great battle to end the 1985 season. Earnhardt still in front. Terry Labonte at number 44. Negative camber turn 8 coming up. See if they both hold it through here.
Dale Earnhardt, the only driver that changed just 2 tires. Labonte has 4 new tires on his car. I would think that if he can just get in front of Earnhardt, we'll be able to drive away from him. But getting in front of him is going to be a problem.
He's pulled up in the draft. He may take a slingshot down here in this long 175-mile-per-hour straightaway. Earnhardt in front. Labonte sizing his man up. Remember, there's a slight dog leg left, and you can't lift. You leave your foot right in it. Here they come. Labonte slings to the inside.
He's to the inside. Looks like he has him this time.
Hard breaking down through there and give it to Terry Labonte, number 44. Back again comes number 3, trying to make a run, Earnhardt. But Terry Labonte in number 44 is back in first place here in the Winston Western 500.
But Earnhardt did not want to let him go by him. Boy, did he try to get back inside of him, coming off turn 9.
Still maintaining third. Tremendous run by Jim Bound. Then in fourth is Ricky Rudd. Fifth is Neil Bonnet. Sixth is Bodine. Seventh is Gant. Back to eighth is Waltrip. Ninth is Hillen. 10th is Richard Petty. And way down in the standings, car number 9, Bill Elliott, after many, many laps in the pits early because of a transmission problem.
Oh, Labonte's car right in front of him, the 29 car.
That's Scott Ockrey.
Gets off the track right in front of the leader, Terry Labonte.
Great Speedway motorcycle champion, Scott Ockrey, who took America's colors to Europe a few years ago and really started the revolution in Speedway racing that gave America some world championships. Tried stock car racing. This is his 4th race in the series from Winston West. First time he's qualified for this event.
Here we see it in replay. He was trying to get out of Terry Labonte's way.
He certainly did.
But he did, but I'm sure it was an anxious moment for Terry Labonte because he could have come back across the racetrack as Phil Parsons, my brother, did a moment ago. There Earnhardt goes by. What a sigh of relief both of those drivers felt when they got by.
It's okay to be a gentleman, but that's overdoing it. Terry Labonte stays out in front. Texas Terry has Dale Earnhardt in 2nd place. Jim Bound in 3rd. Ricky Rudd in 4th. Neil Bonnet is 5th here this afternoon. More live coverage on the Superstation after these good words.
Came in the back way. That is going to cost him a penalty on his score. That we talked to the crew chief. The car is working fine, no problem whatsoever, and he is not babying the car. And he's holding him right there at the end of the pit road. That's too bad for Bill Elliott. But there's a really an important story breaking here in the Elliott pit. The part sent his car back of the wall for more than 30 minutes. This is Alexis Lewis, the communication director for the Coors Mellick team. What is the story on that part, Alexis?
Well, apparently, Chris, what we had was a side cover pin that goes in the shifter inside the transmission, and that's what broke off and caused the problem where we had to work on the car. I guess when it's not your day, it's not your day, because the ultimate irony of it is that the supplier of that particular part is from Franklin, Tennessee.
From Franklin, Tennessee?
Yes.
How can you say that with a smile?
Well, hey, that's racing. We've had a stupendous season. Harry Melling went around and was talking to the crew and said, we've had a hell of a year, guys. It's been our year all year long. And he's proud of every one of us, and we are too. Bill and the crew has just been stupendous.
Bill Elliott's car number 9, running many laps down, back on the track after running out of fuel again. Is it hard being the center of attention all this time? That was the question to Bill Elliott.
Really it is, because the way I grew up in a very small town, you know, I never wanted to be the center of attention or anything. I never thrived in attention. All I want to do is drive a race car and try to be halfway good at it. You know, an opportunity came along to do this, thanks to a lot of people, a lot of support. But what it's grew to, it's hard to imagine. It's sometimes hard for me to really realize what's happened. And it is tough to handle, especially the way things are pretty much put on you in a lot of circumstances. You know, I felt like all in all, we've all done good and the team's done extremely well.
Always the optimist. Bill Elliott takes them a race at a time. 85 laps have now been completed. Elliott's number 9. Not totally counted out, but just about in this championship battle today. The issue, number 11, can it keep running? Waltrip right now in 9th position. We're past the halfway mark. We'll check the attrition again for you shortly as to how many cars have fallen out, because that becomes a factor at this time when they get into these point battles at the end of the season.
There's a lot of point battles going on today. I think most of them have already been decided at this point. In about another 10 laps of the race, the point championship will be decided, because Bill Elliott is 24 laps down. Bill Elliott is 24 laps down as soon as Darrell Waltrip is 24 laps from the end of the race. He has the championship.
There's that car number 44. That is Terry Labonte, who now is in first place. Lap 95, 10 away, they're reporting, would be the lap on which Darrell Waltrip will clinch his 3rd Winston Cup crown and be on his way in early December to the Waldorf Astoria in New York for the annual victory celebration. Battle up in front. There's the attrition so far in the race. Ron Esau out, Trevor Boyce, Rick McRae, Tim Richmond, and Rusty Wallace was in the crash with Richmond at turn 6 that eliminated Richmond's car. Wallace's car succumbed several laps later. Not very high attrition for the way they're pounding these cars around this 2.6 mile 9-turn course.
As we watch Terry Labonte coming off turn 8, we're going to have this commercial message. We'll be back to Riverside, California after these messages.
Ricky Rudd is on the roll. He's just moved around. Dale Earnhardt. It is Ricky Rudd who is attacking, slashing his way through the field. Now searching for the leader, number 44. We have another car off in the S's here at Riverside. Another car pulling off the course. That will not bring out a caution. But the man who is moving is the red and white Ford Thunderbird. That's number 17, your younger brother, Phil Parsons, now out of contention, Benny.
It looks like that Phil had a mechanical problem that time and just pulled the car as far away from the racetrack as he possibly could. Look at all that hair. It's not fair, is it?
Do the Parsons continue to do that kind of thing?
What?
Well, we saw you in Atlanta. I was wondering if there's some of this catching here.
Well, I hope not. I hope that we got rid of all that disease.
Benny Parsons, who's had 2 second places in this race, including when Bill Elliott won it back in 1983. Let's go to Jerry Garrett.
Well, the pit stop strategy down here is going to be interesting, Ken, because that last round of pit stops for the leaders all came with about 45 laps to go. Most people down here will tell you they can go about 40 laps on a tank of fuel. So Maybe with 5 laps to go, this whole race could go topsy-turvy. We'll have to see.
It's the old
pit road. It's Chris Economac. He's got another report.
Well, the man you're looking at is Steve Meal, the crew chief for Terry Labonte, who was faced with a very difficult decision. The last pit stop for the leading car, number 44, will be coming up within the next 10 laps. And the question he faces now is to whether to give him 2 tires or 4 tires. They have a swim lead over Dale Earnhardt in car number 3. If he gives him 4 tires, they'll lose that lead in a lot of time. If he gives him 2 tires, they may be able to keep the lead, but yet how competitive will the car be? So this young 31-year-old crew chief is agonizing over 2 or 4 at the next stop.
Dale Inman was the crew chief on that car in this race last year when Terry Labonte won the Grand National Championship. But got a spinner out there.
Ken Schrader has just looped it. Kenny Schrader out of Missouri in the Judy Donlevy Ford. Coming back on, no caution. He's back underway. Number 90, spinning.
That's up in the S's, beginning of the S's. Turn 2, tough corner to get in. Kenny Schrader did a great job not getting back on the racetrack and driving in front of someone.
Out of the top 20, Ken Schrader. Leader continues to be Labonte, Rudd in second, Bonnet third, Earnhardt fourth, Gant fifth, Bodine sixth, Bobby Hill in seventh, Waltrip is eighth, Richard Petty ninth. Jim Bound in car number 98 has fallen to 10th. What an outstanding job by Jim Bound, former West Coast Rookie of the Year, having a terrific run out here. Number 44, Labonte, up over the top of the hill by turn 6. Massive crowd up there today enjoying this. There you see it, 13 lead changes among 8 drivers. Who says you can't get good racing on a road course?
Today has been one of the better races. Well, I've always been in the race, so maybe it's been like this all the time. But in my mind, this has been a great automobile race today.
Most competitive automobile racing in the world. Doesn't matter where they plan to set up their tents.
Exactly. They can go half-mile racetrack, 2.5-mile oval, 2.6-mile road course, all time. Always a great race. Richard Petty, great run today. He's had some tire problems, spun a moment ago, had to change 4 tires. He's back in the pits. This time it looks like a 2-tire stop.
9th place as he pits there. You think we're ready to play the old gasoline game here today, Benny?
It looks like it.
Oh, it seems like it comes down to that, doesn't it? They begin to say, well, they may run out of gas here today.
So many times it seems like that gasoline is the story. Can this guy make it? He can't make it. One can, one can.
Darrell Waltrip in car number 11. Here you see him. Waltrip maintaining the 8th position. And he seems very loose and easy about this championship chase this year. Witness this response to a question from our Jerry Garrett.
Bill Elliott says the guy that leads in the points is the guy that's really under the pressure because the guy behind can go for broke. How would he know?
Vintage Darrell Waltrip.
There he is, Waltrip in number 11, who looks like he's on his way to his 3rd crown. Craig Sachs has just pitted number 77, the New York State driver coming back out. We're at Riverside, California. You're watching it live on the Superstation, WTBS. And don't forget, this Tuesday night at 9:05 Eastern, America's game, the NBA and the Houston Rockets, the Denver Nuggets will be right here on the Superstation with Skip Carey and Johnny Andres as those Houston Twin Towers go up against last year's Midwest Division champions, the Denver Nuggets. That's Tuesday night, 9:05 here on the Superstation for the NBA, America's game.
Greg Fielding has told me, Ken Squire, that at lap 95, Darrell is going to clinch the Winston Cup championship. It right now is lap 92. Terry Labonte just went by, completed the 92nd lap. 3 more laps. Darrell Waltrip is the 85 Winston Cup champion.
I think we ought to send Chris Economac down there so he can notify them they're going to be the champion. Everybody was surprised when the Barclays American Award went for $10,000 at the midway point to Terry Labonte. Might be nice for Junior to know, but I'll bet you Junior knows to the second, to the inch, when that championship's going to be his. Doesn't miss a lick.
I would think that you're exactly right. I think those guys know what lap that they can rejoice and tell Darrell Waltrip on the radio, Darrell, go for it. Let's get some more spots.
Right now, Terry Labonte at number 44. He's the man that's keeping it between the ditches today, and he stays overall out in front as he puts another lap on the back marker going into that long straightaway. Ricky Rudd maintaining second, still a key player. Neil Bonnet's in third. Dale Earnhardt's in fourth. Harry Gant's in fifth. It's been a dandy race all afternoon. Lots of lead changes. The drivers swapping it around. And Waltrip sits back there in that 7th position and waits on this race. Waits it out. You'd know he'd like to go racing, and I would wonder when that signal comes out that he's won the championship if he'll turn the screw up a little and go after these leaders.
We have something today to Spain in the pit center.
If the race ended now, Darrell Waltrip would be the champion. The race is going to end for Darrell Waltrip in 5 laps when he gets the word that he is #1. We're going to follow it all the way to the finish, so you stand by for more right here on the Superstation. It's the Western 500 on WTBN.
Will be the marker by which we'll know that Darrell Waltrip has won the championship. Meanwhile, take a look at number 98. This is Jim Bound, and he is the leading Western driver in this race. He's done an outstanding job. He has now brought that car up to 11th position. Jim Bound, a real racing family from up in Oregon, continues to make a tremendous move.
There's Terry Labonte on pit road. Now we're going to get the question answered. Are they going to change 2 tires or 4 tires? The jack goes up, the car goes up. They are changing lefts, as we knew they would. Are they going to change rights?
Puts Ricky Rudd in front.
Yes, they are. They're going to change 4 tires on the 44. Terry Labonte, the Piedmont Airlines Chevrolet, 4 tires.
And he'll be set for the rest of the way.
He will be set to go the rest of the way, yes.
119 laps the distance.
There's the leader, Ricky Rudd, up in turn 7.
Second place man is now Neil Bonnet. As Terry Labonte is pitted, Bonnet is now up to the 2nd spot. Battle between those 3. And they're saying that the insurance lap will be 99 laps for Darrell Waltrip to win his 3rd crown. There's the Nationwide standings, the up-and-coming award of $1,000. Lake Speed, the Nationwide driver, currently is leading it. Jim Bound at number 98, the top West Coast runner. He is 2nd in those standings, and Glenn Struer, the West Coast Rookie of the Year, is 3rd in those standings. You know, there are so many awards that they give here for the various categories of competition among crew chiefs, among racers, among all kinds of things. Let's get this special report right now down here at the STP Pit Center from Dave Despade and Dale Inman.
Ladies and gentlemen, come on in to Dave and Dale's Auto Parts, Riverside International Raceway. I got my counterman, Dale Inman, here to help me out. We want to talk about big money. You've heard about Bill Elliott's $1 million day in Darlington, $250,000 for the Winston Cup Championship. We got a bunch more dollars in stock car racing. Consider the Unical Award. Union 76, $201,000. Would you hang on to this, please? Top award is $76,000, and that goes to Bill Elliott. Don't you drop those. We're talking $201,000 there. Champion Spark Plug. Champion puts up 10 grand to the Rookie of the Year and $1,000 a race for all of next season. That's $28,000 more dollars. Here's the Bush Pole Award. That's $30,000 to the guy who wins the most poles. We're talking 30 grand to Bill Elliott. Michigan engine bearings are kind of heavy, and they put up some heavy bucks, too. $10,000 to the championship engine builder. Bill Elliott has won that award this year through crew chief Ernie Elliott. Don't you drop those. Dayco fan belts, okay? $10,000 for the driver who improves his position in the standings the most from one season to the next, and it's $10,000, and you know who won it? Dale Inman's cousin, Kyle Petty. What does that all add up to, my man?
289 grand.
$289,000. We're talking big money down at Dave and Dale.
And the Goodies Headache Award, well, it's almost unanimous for Elliott.
Well, there's no contest for Bill Elliott.
Poor Bill Elliott. He's still out here, still trying, and they say 95 laps will do it by some people's records, 99 by others. But understand that Waltrip right now in 7th place, he's not taking any chance. He'll run 100 laps at that rate before he does anything fancy.
Let's face it, we can't have any jubilation or any parties yet, but Darrell Waltrip is the champion for 1985.
Waiting this one out, and of course the attrition as it stands has been very minimal today. Ricky Rudd is leading. Neil Bonnet is in 2nd. You saw the stop by Terry Labonte, which should be his last. We know that Rudd has to come in again, and Bonnet will be in one more time.
And, you know, we wondered why Terry Labonte, there was a question, was he going to change 2 tires or 4 tires? The reason that he changed 4 tires is because of the problems that Dale Earnhardt are having right now. On the last stop on the caution flag, Dale Earnhardt only changed 2 tires. He has lost almost a half lap to these front runners by only changing 2 tires. Be assured that Earnhardt, when he goes back in the pits, will change 4 tires.
There's your leader right now. That is Ricky Rudd. Let's take a look at the 1985 Busch Pole winners. These are the guys that will be in the clash this year, plus, of course, a wild card selection. Elliott won 11 poles, Waltrip 4, Bodine, Earnhardt, Terry Labonte won the pole here this time for his 4th one of the season. And there's one more to be selected from the wild card, and that is some race. You've been in that one a few times.
I have been in a great race. The Harry Gant, the Skull Bandit, we forgot to mention him. He is in the race as well.
That's correct. All right, as we get down to the end of this one today, we are still seeing Ricky Rudd leading, but by a very slim margin, as Harry Gant and Jeff Bodine continue to work their way into this one. Neil Bonnet is going to be a factor, and for sure, Terry Labonte is going to make a drive for the finish. More live coverage from Riverside, California, after these words.
Live at Riverside International Raceway for the Winston Western 500, where Darrell Waltrip has just made his final pit stop, and he got the information from his car owner, Junior Johnson, that Darrell, you've now clinched the championship. Stand on it as hard as it'll go.
It was one of the most methodical pit stops I've witnessed in some time. Here's Jeff Bodine running in 3rd spot. Bodine coming back on the track. 9 cars, 12 cars, they're reporting. 9 cars running in the lead lap. 9 automobiles now in the lead lap. Junior Johnson took all the time in the world. He walked all the way across the front of the car. He stood there, he looked everything over, and he snapped his finger, and Waltrip went back to work. They didn't want any problems on that pit stop, and from here on it is clear sailing. They have won the championship. The question is, do they want to go for some more positions in this race? Ken Squire alongside, start-finish line here at Riverside, California, in the line that they have with me. Benny Parsons, former Grand National champion, took 21 of these things himself and loves road racing.
I do. This is the greatest fun in the world. These fellows on the racetrack are having a tremendous amount of fun today. Darrell Waltrip, and you can imagine how much fun he's having, because he's going to walk away from this race with somewhere around $500,000.
Well, already this season, he's won $5 million. Already through the seasons, he's won $5,923,000. This race pushes him over the $6 million mark for sure. That's just an incredible sum for a guy who is a relative newcomer.
There is Neil Bonnet on the screen right now. As he went by a moment ago, if we can get a shot the next time he comes by, he has damage to the left rear quarter. He has had some kind of contact on the racetrack. We see smoke out of the right rear of the automobile. So Neil Bonnet has had some collision on the race course.
He's running 4th. Bonnet in 4th. Bodine 5th now after that pit stop. Earnhardt 6th.
There we see in the bumper right in front of the left rear tire, the damage to the quarter panel.
Jim Bodine is 7th. Or rather, Jim Bound is in 7th. 8th is Richard Petty. 9th is Lake Speed. 10th is Waltrip at this moment. There's Bobby Hillin settling in another time. The record is about a little over 107 miles an hour. They're averaging 103 miles per hour today. 107.820 by Waltrip back in 1979. That Waltrip mark not going to be challenged today. Here's Harry Gant, number 33, who had been running in 2nd place. He's in for his final stop. 119 laps, the distance. Herschel McGriff, number 04, is pitted. He's back on the track another time. Winding this one down. A magnificent year for the Winston Cup Series of NASCAR. And in this race today, Darrell Waltrip is riding the headlines as the new national champion. Terry Labonte, 84 champion, has been a key player throughout this race, but he's back in the standings at the present time, fighting 6th and 7th spot with Kyle Petty and company.
Yes, and you know, Kyle Petty and Jeff Bodine have a lot going for them in this race today. Neither of these fellas, and I think it's Kyle Petty, does not want Ricky Rudd to win the race, because if Rudd wins, he's in the Winston race next year. Yeah, that only leaves one spot open to come from the point standings, and it's going to be odd man out, either Kyle Petty or Jeff Bodine.
Here in the SCP Pit Communications Center, we're watching car number 78. That car's a big story. That is Jim Robinson. Darrell Waltrip having clinched the championship here today in the Grand National Division is one story. Robinson is going to clinch the Winston West Championship title here today, and that's going to be his 3rd consecutive crown. He came into the race needing just a solid finish to wrap it up. That will be his 3rd consecutive title, and those have been tight point battles. He just had a 10-point lead coming in today, but he's been solid all afternoon. It is a race within a race with a separate point standing. Jim Robinson is going to be the new Winston West champion for 1985. 3rd year in a row he's won it.
39-year-old driver out of North Hollywood. Had 3 wins thus far this season, 2 wins thus far this season. The 83 and 84 champ is looking strong right here now. They've had, I believe, 11 events in their series out here on the West Coast this year. Here's Jim Robinson. Previously, they've gone to Phoenix to wrap it up. They may do that again next year, I understand. He was in a pretty good battle with Herschel McGriff. McGriff could have beaten him today. Ruben Garcia was 3rd in the Western standings, and that rookie Glenn Struer was 4th.
Herschel McGriff, who won the race yesterday, has had nothing but problems in today's events. I just saw him down on pit road a moment ago with a car jacked up, people underneath it, working on the transmission or the shifter or something like that, as we watch Jim Robinson go through turn 6.
Meanwhile, up in front, Ricky Rudd continues to show the way overall in this tremendous race before a gigantic throng on a gorgeous Sunday afternoon in California. Riverside has hosted Winston Cup races November of '63 when it all began. They held the season finale here, the first time they ended the season under a blue California sky. That was back when Darrell Derringer bagged his first career win in one of those Bill Stroh Mercuries, and Joe Weatherly won the championship over Richard Petty with a 7th place finish.
We see Ricky Rudd going through turn 6. I look down and the crew is getting ready for him. They have the tires on pit road. It looks like Rudd is going to be coming in the next time by. And the question is Ricky Rudd going to change 2 or 4 tires?
Ricky Rudd, what do you need to do to conserve your car here in Riverside, California?
So what you really need to do here is be alert and be thinking that you have to have all 4 gears left at the end of the race to be able to win the race. So whatever it takes to keep the transmission intact and keep brakes on the car in the beginning stages, you need to do that. So that means if somebody jumps out front and is abusing their car and really getting away from you, you have to use your head and not over-abuse your car trying to keep up with them, because 90% of the time you'll see that guy that set that blistering pace, you'll see him on the sidelines in maybe another 20, 30 laps.
When he comes by this time, 105 laps will have been completed, and there will be 14 laps remaining to be run this afternoon. Now, here's Rudd coming in, and he is coming on pit road, I believe.
Yes, he is going down pit road. Bud Moore and the crew, they're ready.
Here's Chris Economaki.
Okay, Ricky Rudd comes in. If the outside tires are being changed, he was 27 seconds ahead of Terry Labonte the last time by. This is a crucial stop. 2 cans of gas are cleaning in the windshield. Our clock is ticking away. There it is. There's a pit stop. 12 and 45 100 seconds. A 2-tire stop for Ricky Rudd. That may leave him in the lead. Yes, it does. Terry Labonte closest to the win. 5 or 6 car lengths as they hit the straightaway, and Rudd keeps the lead. Back to you.
We have a battle for the lead as we get ready to decide it all on the most competitive racing there is. On the Winston Cup Series, number 44, Terry Labonte and Ricky Rudd battling now for first place as they move back to that critical turn number 6 another time.
Ricky Rudd only changed the inside tires, the left side tires, or the outside tires here at Riverside. Terry Labonte on his last pit stop changed 4 tires. I think maybe that the new tires on Rudd's car will take away the advantage that Terry Labonte had with the 4 tires, because now Labonte has probably 10 laps on those 4 new tires.
Bonnet's in 3rd, Gantz in 4th, Earnhardt in 5th, Jim Bound up to 6th, Bodine back to 7th, Richard Petty in 8th, Blake Speed up to 9th, Darrell Waltrip runs in 10th. Here they are for the lead.
Ricky Rudd seems to be pulling away from Labonte. Maybe the 2 tires was the perfect move for Bud Moore and the crew.
Now let's see what happens at turn 9. There he is, that big Ford screaming down here. That Chevrolet chasing after him into turn number 9. There is the 2nd place car, Terry Labonte. Won here in June.
There's Ricky Rudd, Ken, and this guy, you know he wants to win. It's been 54 races since he won. 54. He is 0 for 54. Today he wants to make it 1 for 55.
Bud Moore and that outfit could sure use a win here today. Holding on to it as they come back up out of turn number 1. Big sentimental favorite out of the state of Virginia is Rudd. And Virginia is real race country. The big news out of Richmond is they may have themselves a new 1 3/4 track. Here they are around a lap car. Ricky Rudd out in front. The Chesapeake runner looking good. The Texan coming after him.
Labonte right on his bumper.
May try to make a move here as they come to turn number 8. Let's see if Labonte can deal with him here. Those tires usually get, what, about 3 laps before they begin to I don't want to use the word equalize because that means something different, but they really come back and come off the speed dramatically.
Dramatically in about 3 or 4 laps. So Rudd, right now, if he can't drive away from Terry Labonte, I think we're going to see something very interesting for the last 10, 15 laps of this race.
Getting around Jimmy Means, holding their position. Beautiful car prepared by Bud Moore, one of the masters. That interval has grown a little this time. About the same, 10, 12 car lengths. I thought he had it by a tad more as he came through that time.
It looks like Labonte is making up his ground in the S's, and that's a bad break for Labonte because it's so hard to pass up there. You need to gain down the back straightaway in turn 9.
To pass in the S's, you have to hit it right at turn number 1, or there's just no way you can get through. All right, the race is stabilized for just a moment as car number 15 stays in front, and here comes 44 right back up on it. For a moment, it looked like he was going to pull away, but that's not the case.
It looks like that Rudd pulled in behind the 7 car of Kyle Petty, and it slowed him down momentarily enough for Terry Labonte to drive up on his rear bumper.
Here they are to turn number 8. Another opportunity here. Just check out raw horsepower. Ford in first, and he draws way, way out in front. Goes back to a 15-car length advantage. Here they are into turn number 9. And for the moment, the advantage is Ricky Rudd. Let's get a report from the GM Goodwrench Motor Week News Center here at Riverside, and Bob Marsh is standing by to tell us what else is going on in motorsports today.
Thank you, Ken. As this Winston Western 500 winds down, it'll end our NASCAR season, but it also means the beginning of some major NASCAR driver changes to new teams. One such change was confirmed here at Riverside as Mike Curb Racing rolled out the new Pontiac that Ron Bouchard, a Grand National veteran, will be driving for Curb Racing next year. Bouchard replaces Richard Petty, who's leaving to form his own Grand National team with our own Dale Inman. The Offshore Boat World Championships were decided this weekend off of Key West, Florida. And for the 3rd year in a row, George Morales of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, is the World Superboat Champion. Sad note of irony in that competition, however, Anthony Roberts is the new Open Class World Champion. Roberts, a teammate to racers Bill Fulham and Mike Pappas, who were killed in a tragic racing accident earlier this week. The Speedway Bike Stars made a rare appearance at historic Ascot Park, a half-mile oval just up the road in Gardena, California. The new national long track Speedway champion is Lance King, who got a break with Sam Marmolenko, ranked 3rd in the world, fell off in heat racing. Sam's okay, but Lance has the title. And finally, back east at George's Road, Atlanta, the World Karting Association World Championship is decided. These are not the go-karts you and I used to ride. These are high-tech machines. And the new world champion, the very aptly named Jerry McCart of Morrow, Georgia. Jack Johnson of Chicago took the under-16 honors at the World Karting Championship. That's it for now. We'll see you next time on the GM Goodwrench Motor Week Illustrated Racing Update.
Thank you very much, Bob Marshall. Ricky Rudd, whose best finishes this year were 2nd at Bristol and 2nd at Martinsville, holding on, trying to win here today. Now, on this track, on this 2.6-mile course, the Chevrolet seem to have the advantage at turns number 6 and 8. They can light up a little faster coming off. The Ford has the advantage coming off this number 9, this big sweeper, and up to the S's on 1, 2, and 3. That's been the story through the practice periods and earlier, but now we're seeing a reversal of that. The 44 seems to be gathering up on the back of Ricky Rudd in that turn 1, 2, 3. The interesting thing about that Ford car has been they haven't on the half-mile tracks. The whole story of Ford is getting off those corners and getting the power down as quick as the GM cars. Same thing holds true on a road course.
Turns 6 and 8, again, got to be a definite advantage for a Chevrolet, but Rudd is making an advantage for the Ford. This is unusual. You don't see that at Riverside. He continued to put bus links on Terry Labonte coming off turn 8, where Labonte is supposed to have the advantage.
Well, they found some horsepower there. We'll be back with more live coverage as we come down to the finish of the last race of 1985 after these words. Run for the lead, and this battle between Harry Gant, who has really been worrying right up on the rear bumper of car number 12, Neil Bonnet, closing up on him at turn number 6, and has nearly bagged him a couple of times. And then the other battle. There you see Neil Bonnet, who is at the present time in 3rd spot. Harry Gant is in 4th. And that other battle, which is just so rich, this wonderful contest that is going on between Ricky Rudd, trying for his first win of the season, and right behind him, Terry Labonte.
Harry Gant closes in right on the rear bumper of Neil Bonnet through the S's. There's Rudd. There's Labonte right on his rear bumper. This is for first. We're watching right now. The other battle we saw between Bonnet and Harry Gant was for third spot.
Ford's won the first 9 Winston West 500 races, but they've won only 1 of the last 15. Ricky Rudd has tried to turn that one around this afternoon. He learned his road courses in a course his dad built around a junkyard up there in Chesapeake, Virginia. First Grand National race back in 1975 at Rockingham for the Ford Torino.
It looks like Rudd is pulling out. He now has about a 20-car length advantage. And don't you know that makes him look good when he looks up in the rear mirror.
Lapping Lake Speed, and so as we move into turn number 9, Ricky Rudd closer ever to that victory, first one of the season. Ricky Rudd has fond memories of this racetrack.
Well, thinking back, yeah, Riverside has been pretty good to me in the past. It was the first time I won a Grand National race was out here in Riverside in about '83. So, you know, you have a lot of fond memories of a place when you especially won your first race out here.
Second year with Bud Moore in his 235th start. Ricky Rudd up through the S's another time. And
Harry Gant tried to get alongside Neil Bonnet going in turn 2. Couldn't make it, had to back off.
That's why he made the move before, and he slid the car across the track to take a shot at number 12. Dandy battle.
Dandy battle for third spot. That's turn 5 up the hill, turn 6 back to the right on the throttle hard coming off the corner.
Gant almost had it sideways out of turn number 6. Slow corner, now going to the slowest corner on the course.
Oh, Neil Bonnet started, he almost pitched it in the corner like he was on a dirt track.
Neil Bonnet's not really a dirt racer. Now there's Bill Elliott, who made such a game run with 11 wins this year, and again he is back on pit road. Transmission earlier today soured his day, took him out of the championship run. Darrell Waltrip is the 1985 champion. The laps are running out here at Riverside, California, as we have another contest going on for the lead that is something besides the Waltrip-Elliott contest. 113 of 119 laps have been completed today. Holding on, trying to win a Ford victory over a Chevrolet. There's Darrell Waltrip, the new champion. Third time he's won it. 6th time in 10 years that a Junior Johnson car has won the crown. Simple. All you've got to do is get a Junior Johnson car and you're on your way. Not quite true, as Neil Bonnet can attest. Although Neil Bonnet has done extremely well in the standings this year. Neil Bonnet up there in 4th place going into this, battling with Harry Gant. They're battling 3rd and 4th in the race, and they've been 3rd and 4th in the standings.
That's a little deja vu on your television screen there as we watch Bobby Allison and Darrell Waltrip. Waltrip has already wrapped up today's championship, but we can't help but recall that for 3 straight years, those 2 cars decided the championship on this racetrack. Allison won 1, Waltrip won 2. Today, Allison's not in it, and Darrell Waltrip is cruising to a big league payday.
With all the new additional funds, this will be a mighty successful year. That $250,000 he'll pick up at the Waldorf Astoria. That's more than bragging money. Ricky Rudd first, Terry Labonte second, Bonnet third, Gant fourth, Earnhardt fifth, Bodine sixth, Richard Petty seventh, Waltrip eighth, Lake Speed ninth, Jim Bound 10th, Ron Bouchard 11th, Glenn Struer 12th, Jim Robinson 13th, Ruben Garcia 14th, couple of laps down, 15th is Bobby Hill, and 16th is Bill Schmidt. 17th is Derek Cope. Bobby Allison is 18th. Dave Marcus is 19th. We have 8 cars running the lead lap. Waltrip is running the tail end of that lead lap.
This battle we're watching now has some interesting financial permutations, too, because Terry Labonte has won a previous race this year. That does 2 things. It qualifies you for the Winston, that big winners-only shootout, and it also puts you on something NASCAR calls the Winner's Circle program. Ricky Rudd has neither of those honors this year. He's not won a race. He's got to keep Labonte behind him, and boom, they touch right there. Labonte comes up and gives him a nudge. They're scrambling all over the racetrack. If Ricky Rudd can win this race, he'll go on Winner's Circle next year. His car owner will, and that's worth about $150 grand. win, and he'll also win an opportunity to race in the Winston, a $500,000 event that pays $200,000 to win. So Ricky Rudd is looking at a big payday if he can hold off Labonte and take that checkered flag.
Get set for an explosive finish here at Riverside today. 115 of 119 laps complete. There you see the view around turn number 9 of this Riverside International Raceway. Tremendous crowd watching these two men. The Ford of Ricky Rudd, the Chevrolet of Terry Labonte, fighting it out right to the finish.
3 laps to go. They cross the start-finish line. There is only 3 laps to go. Labonte is there if he can just get alongside Rudd, but he can't this time.
There they are into the S's.
Oh, Rudd off the race course.
Labonte looking for any kind of running room, any place on the racetrack. He'll take any scrap he can get. Both of these drivers really hungry. Labonte tasting victory here in June. Now he wants it again. Crowd up in turn number 6. Anxiously watching this one come down to conclusion as you watch it live across America on the Superstation.
Here's two guys that have taken care of their cars all day because it looks like the brakes, the transmission, everything is working just as well as it did when it began.
Down for the finish. About 2.5 laps away. Terry Labonte falling back as he has before. Now about 10, 12 car lengths. But watch what happens when they come around turn number 9 and then head back up through those S's.
As we watch this battle, Dale Inman, again reminding everybody that you crewed that number 44 car last year when Terry Labonte won the Grand National Championship. Is there anything you tell your driver in a situation like this?
No, he knows what's going on, you know, and he knows there's 2 laps to go right now, and you just count down, tell him there's 2 laps to go to get all he can get, and that's what he's trying to do right now. Ricky's pretty strong coming down that backstretch, so Terry needs to pass him somewhere up in the S's, looks like to me, but it's going to be a shootout for sure.
That's still a strong battle going on for the 3rd position, but this is the story right here, right now in Riverside, California, on a golden afternoon. The pay dirt about to be struck by Ricky Rudd, Terry Labonte for first place. Waltrip has already reached the mother lode and taken the national championship this afternoon. Here they are, back to turn number 8 another time. Skimming down in there goes the Ford, but more prepared. Need you say more? One of the great car builders.
Rudd got a good jump that time off turn 8. A good jump on Terry Labonte. And you see how Ricky Rudd is going back and forth across the racetrack going down the back straightaway. He doesn't want to give Labonte the draft off of his automobile to let Labonte gain on him down the back straightaway.
Smart piece of driving. Here he is in turn number 9. Scooting down in there comes Ricky Rudd. And there you see the interval. And that's not much.
It's not much. And as they come off the 9th corner, Harold Kinder, the flagman for NASCAR, has a white flag in his hand, and he waves it right on the hood of Ricky Rudd's car, and then Terry Labonte.
Ricky Rudd in first. First came here in 1981 when they ran 2 Winston Western 500s. He's had 1 second-place finish. That was in 1982. He's had engine problems here, had a lot of difficulties. Now he's trying to get it settled down for this last lap. Here comes Texas, Terry Labonte in car number 44, closing at turn number 6. He's there.
Right on his back bumper.
Crowd on its feet and cheering as down they come, headed for turn number 8. Ricky Rudd's in first, and you can be sure the fans watching in Virginia today are on the edge of their seat, and the Texans are up too. Here they come for turn 8. Last time to decide it all in this 312-mile, 500-kilometer event. It's coming down to this. 2 men less than a car length apart. Now there'll be a little bit of interval here as that Ford draws away. Does Labonte have anything left for turn number 9? That's the question. Under the bridge. Last shot. Terry Labonte.
Labonte's going to take it in 9 just as hard as he possibly can. Try to outbreak him. But no, Rudd takes it in equally as hard.
Labonte pulling up.
Ricky just needs to stay on the bottom of the racetrack and make Terry go by on the outside.
Slides a little. Here they come, charging the line. They're out of control a bit. They picked them up, and at the line, it'll be Ricky Rudd winning the Winston Western 500 today at Riverside, California. Across in second place is Terry Labonte, who won it in June here on this very same track. Ricky Rudd's done it. We'll be back to meet him in a moment.
Race has ended. Darrell Waltrip is the Grand National Champion for 1985 by a margin of about 100 points. And Ricky Rudd has come out of this season with a big, big victory in the finale. A race that puts him into the Winston for next year. It gives him a shot at $200,000 to win. A win that his car owner, Bud Moore, estimates is going to be worth about $200,000 to the team because they go on the Winner's Circle program. It's a big prize here today, but the real payoff for Ricky Rudd could come next year, and it could be almost $500,000. Rudd has become the 9th winner of the 1985 Winston Cup campaign. Bill Elliott won more than his share this year, some people say. The 9th victory of the year, the 9th new winner of the year is Ricky Rudd. The Winston Cup champion is Darrell Waltrip. And the guy who definitely wins the Goodies Headache Award today has got to be Bill Elliott. He dropped out early with a broken transmission. They repaired it, got him back onto the racetrack some 24 laps behind. He scrambled on the rest of the way. Let's go to Chris Economaki.
All right, right down here, Darrell Waltrip has just pulled in. The well wishes, his wife Stevie is crying. He's taking off his helmet. It's an exciting moment here. People are shaking hands with him. He can't seem to finish his work. Stevie, what are you crying about?
I'm just thrilled.
Just thrilled, she says. They're knocking the steering wheel off for Darrell. He's got more helpers and well-wishers here, disconnecting his equipment, his lines, his radio thing, his oxygen line. And here he's coming out of the car now. We're going to try and get him and get his first public words. Well, congratulations, champion.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. What a great day.
It really was a great day for you, Darrell.
Yeah, it was.
Did you have it easy when you knew Elliott was out?
Well, I just went ahead and run sort of like he was still out there. I didn't really take it all that easy. I just drove a relatively quick pace, but not one that I might have drove if he'd have been out there. But my car would run. I tell you, them boys better be glad we were trying to win a championship because it would definitely run. And I wish I could have stayed in there a little hot and heavier than I did. But just want to say hi to all my friends back there in Franklin and all my Christian buddies and mom and dad and mother and father-in-law. I love all of you.
You know, at the end there, you crossed the line with Elliott alongside of you. You guys talking to one another?
I was afraid to look over. I didn't know what he might be saying. No, we waved at each other. And, you know, he's had a great year, and this just makes us have one, too. So instead of one guy having one great year, well, we've had 2 great years.
Well, congratulations again, Darrell, for a great season.
Well, thanks, Budweiser, too, and good year. Valvoline, Kentucky Fried Chicken.
The champion for 1985 for the 3rd time in his career out of Tennessee and originally Kentucky is Darrell Waltrip, and you'll meet the winner of the race following these messages.
100 Ricky Rudd, and boy, you pulled it out right at the end of the season when he needed to.
Well, we really did. You know, it's been a right tough year for us. The car has run up front all year. We just haven't been able to put together a win, and today everything went real well for this Motorcraft Ford, and all the guys on the crew, they think they made some smart pit strategy moves. Early in the race, we cut a tire. We really weren't in contention until later on. They made the right decision on using the right Goodyear tires at the right time. And I say really this win probably the guys back at the shop to take a Ford and get it to run on a road course where you really have to accelerate. I'm telling these guys back at the shop that's been working on these motors all year, sort of been unsung heroes back there. The Elliott guys have caught all the attention, but these guys did a heck of a job all year, and I think it's time they got a little recognition back there.
Now, we talked earlier in the week about the disadvantage the Fords have here. Where was it today? You held off Terry Labonte when you needed to.
Well, the guys worked real hard trying to get the motor to accelerate up out of the corners, and that's where we've been weak at. This is the motor we had in practice, and I could tell when we first got here that we had a lot more than what we normally have accelerating, and that's what they did. They got a lot of bottom end horsepower. We had to sacrifice a little bit on the top side. Didn't have the top end we needed, but I said, forget that. We need something that's going to accelerate up out of the corners, and motor combination worked great, and everything just went perfect today.
You realize how much money you could possibly make for winning this race?
I got, I guess, somewhere in the neighborhood of $300,000 to $400,000 before it's over with.
That's big money in anybody's book.
It certainly is. It puts him into the Winston, that $500,000 race in Atlanta next year. It puts him on the Plan 1. In a moment, you'll meet the challenger who has given the champion one of the best battles ever run in Winston Cup racing, Bill Elliott, following these messages. Economaki is standing by with a man who gave it such a game try in '85, Bill Elliott.
The flags in Georgia tomorrow may well be at half-mast for a disappointment of Bill Elliott, who gave a great try, but his car wouldn't hold up. Bill, what happened to your car going down that back straight on that lap?
Well, when I shifted from third to fourth, the shift lever broke in the transmission. You know, it's nothing that, you know, you check a lot of things, but you know, it's just something that can happen. And, you know, the thing of it is, the car ran pretty good when we went back out. You know, I got to say one thing, we may have lost the championship, but the team, you know, they never lost their pride or the determination. You know, we kept on digging. You know, I got to say one other thing. Got to congratulate Darrell and all his guys for the heck of a job they did. You know, they were 200 points down there at Darlington, and they came back. You know, and that's got to say one thing. I congratulate Ricky Rudd for a fine job he did also.
What went through your mind, Bill, when that transmission lever flopped around in the car?
Well, really nothing. You know, it's the things that happen. You know, I knew I was 20 points behind, and that's a lot to make up. And the way Darrell run all day long, there wouldn't have been any beating him anyway. But, you know, we give it our best shot. We tried all year. We've had a heck of a year, and it's been good from there.
Well, Bill, your year has done so much for motorsports in general and stock car racing in particular. It's focused the attention of the nation on our sport, and for that we congratulate and wish you all the best next year.
Well, I appreciate it, and I thank all the fans that stuck with me all year long, and everybody else that stuck with me through hard times and good times, and I'll be looking forward to going, you know, through getting over the winter, going into next year with this fine team and seeing what happens next year.
Thank you, Bill Elliott.
Thank you.
Dale, he's glad it's over, isn't he?
Well, you can tell by the look on his face, the expression that he is glad it's over. He's had pressure all year long. 28 races. The first race he won at Daytona this year, that put him in line for the Winston. He won that. There was pressure on him for that. And then when that race happened, the point race started getting tighter, more pressure. And you
pressure to win the million. That was a big one.
Yeah, right. To win the million, that was big. And then the championship got close. And even though he didn't win it, boy, he had a tremendous year. And they're a great bunch of boys. And you could just tell that he was relieved.
Gracious in defeat, Bill Elliott, and certainly a worthy champion, Darrell Waltrip.
Down in Ronda, North Carolina, Flossie Johnson starts preparations for Thanksgiving next week. Little group of 60. Our old friend Ralph Seagraves, who was not here, ill and could not come out to the coast. And they'll have a very special and wonderful time this year for sure after this great victory coming from some 206 points back to win the national championship. Again, the finish today, Ricky Rudd in first place. In second place was Terry Labonte. Third was Neil Bonnet. Fourth, Harry Gant. Fifth, Dale Earnhardt. Sixth, Jeff Bodine. Seventh, Richard Petty. Eighth, Darrell Waltrip. Ninth was Lake Speed. 10th was Ron Bouchard. 11th was Glenn Struer. 12th was Jim Robinson. 13th, Ruben Garcia. Danny, final thought from you.
The Winston Cup Championship went away early, Ken Squire, but the race held it up. What a tremendous race and a great win for Ricky Rudd.
Our congratulations to Ricky Rudd and to Darrell Waltrip for their great championship victories today. For Benny Parsons, Dave Despain, Jerry Garrett, Dale Inman, Chris Economaki, and Bob Varsha, I'm Ken Squire. That's the story of the final race of 1985.